Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word Live and to the race watch-along for the 2019 Monaco Grand Prix. Are we ready? It is not raining. Unfortunately, I know I've just upset a few people on Twitter with a bit of a cheeky tweet, but yes, it is not raining in Monaco at the moment. Apparently, some forecasts are saying it could rain up to an hour into the session, so we might get a little bit of drizzle, but I seem to remember, correct me if I'm wrong, we were doing this last year as well with rain, so I do wonder if sometimes we get giving a little bit of fake hype to try and get us all interested, but there is still a few interesting things to talk about before we get going today. For the race, which kicks off in about half an hour from now, so 10 past 2 UK time. As Purple Shirt in the chat has just said there, anything can happen. It is Monaco. It can be a procession, but then when we get a cracking race, we don't half get a cracking race. So hopefully we can do that today. We'll kick things off before we get talking about qualifying yesterday and whatnot properly by having a look at the result from qualifying. Now, of course, this is not the final result from qualifying. I'll talk more about that in just a moment. But Lewis Hamilton is on pole position. He set the fastest time with a lap of a 1:10.166, marginally quicker than teammate Valtteri Bottas. Max Verstappen third, Sebastian Vettel fourth, Pierre Gasly fifth, but he will be dropping 3 places. More on that in a moment. Kevin Magnussen, a brilliant qualifying, qualified sixth, will start fifth. That could get very tasty into turn one. Daniel Ricciardo, P7, Danny Kvyat. Always getting them two mixed up when you put the Daniels together. He's in 8th, Carlos Sainz 9th, and Alexander Albon capping off a very good qualifying as well for Toro Rosso. Both cars inside that top 10. Awesome stuff. Could they challenge those ahead today? That'd be good to see. Nico Hülkenberg 11th, free choice of tyre. Of course, Lando Norris 12th, 13th for Grosjean, 14th for Raikkonen, 15th for Giovinazzi. He will take a grid drop as well. Charles Leclerc, though, down in 16th. Sergio Perez 17th, Lance Stroll 18th. George Russell 19th, and guess what? Robert Kubica in the second Williams is in 20th place. So we have got some penalties to talk about, which I will go through in just a moment. A few little bits of housekeeping to do whilst you have a quick skim over that result. Of course, there is no race footage in this stream. There's no way that I can. I've had a few people pointed out yesterday, well, why are you willing to take the risk with the Formula E footage? The difference is I'm actually partnered with Formula E and have an agreement to use their footage, whereas Formula One are just not interested. I can't even get used to their live timing. They won't even let me use that, so it's not going to happen. Unfortunately, I can't, but maybe one day they will relax the rules around timing and we'll get to use it, but at the moment it's definitely a no. But I'm sure people will share some links and whatnot in the chat. I was going to say description, but definitely the chat. There'll be those around there. Don't forget to follow me on social media. All the links you need are in the description, as are links to support the stream if you want to through Streamlabs and PayPal. And there's also the super chat function here on YouTube as well. We're going to talk about those penalties in just a second. Also, what is going on at Ferrari. We're going to try and get through that between us. And of course, before the race gets going, there will be a minute's silence for Niki Lauda. And of course, we will observe that on this channel. What an absolute legend. I've even got my red cap on. It is a Sebastian Vettel Ferrari cap, so I'm fanboy for the day. But it's a red cap for Niki Lauda, so... And we will, of course, honour that 1 minute silence. Now, I did actually do some notes earlier, which I never do for these streams, but there's a few bits worth going through. Unfortunately, I've been a bit thick, and I think I've lost them. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to try and ad-lib this a little bit, but there are penalties. We'll start off with... We'll start with Pierre Gasly, I think, even though he was technically the second infringement. I found them. Look at that. They were hidden on my computer somewhere. So, yes, Pierre Gasly, he has been given a 3-place grid drop after impeding Romain Grosjean in qualifying. If you watched the qualifying watch-along yesterday, I think most of us, I did, and I think you in chat as well, called both of these penalties as soon as we saw them. The stewards decided, I'll read it for you, the driver of car 8, Grosjean, had to brake hard to avoid colliding with car 10, Gasly, which was going slowly on a preparation lap and was on the race line. At the time, car 8 was clearly the only car on a fast lap in the area, and while the stewards accepted it was unlikely that the driver of car 10 had any opportunity in that sequence of turns to see car 8. Oh dear. The team admitted that they had failed to give any warning. The stewards therefore determined that Pierre Gasly unnecessarily impeded Romain Grosjean and imposed a 3-place grid penalty on him. And it's the same for Antonio Giovinazzi. That was, Gasly's was pretty clear, but Giovinazzi's was about a slam dunk of a blocking penalty you're ever going to see. Basically stopped him Raskas, completely impeded Nico Hülkenberg. Pretty much the same reason, given they did add that at the time he was in the middle of the track and clearly impeded car 27, which is obviously Nico Hülkenberg. Just have a quick skim through this. Giovinazzi was on a setup lap, had the opportunity to give more room regardless of whether he received a warning from the team. And the stewards just determined it was a 3-place grid drop. And I completely agree with both of those decisions. That means that Pierre Gasly drops to 8th. I know that doesn't sound like a huge penalty, 5th to 8th, but in Monaco that is absolutely massive. Absolutely massive. And Giovinazzi down to 18th place, which means we've got Kevin Magnussen starting 5th, Ricciardo 6th, Kvyat up to 7th, and then a little bit further back that does promote Charles Leclerc an extra place to 15th, and a couple of other drivers as well. So yes, some interesting developments after qualifying yesterday, I think it's fair to say, but I'm not surprised by either decision. Not surprised by either decision, but we will talk a little bit about Ferrari. I think we kind of need to. Yes, Dave the Fish, I did see Chamber's video yesterday. A couple of people actually were asking him in his comments and in the chat on Twitter, on that social media bird site thing. I'll get there, don't worry. Asking him whether or not, have you been working on that for weeks? And apparently not. Apparently he literally just decided after he finished watching F2 yesterday, I'm doing a video on Ferrari. It was mad, absolutely mad. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that video. But it is so weird at Ferrari. I kind of touched on this yesterday. They're so different strategically to what they were when I was growing up. I was a huge Michael Schumacher fanboy, as I may have mentioned a few times. And that era of Jean Todt and Ross Brawn, that was what they were known for, getting strategy right. They were brilliant at it. They could pull off 4 5-stop strategies and still win races. I know they had an incredibly quick car and a dominant car in some of those seasons, but they were really, really brilliant, really good at strategy. It's the one thing that they never seemed to fail at, apart from maybe team orders in Austria 2002, which, I mean, technically is strategy and they got it right, but it wasn't a popular move. It was their thing. Now, they just can't get anything right when it comes to strategy. It's absolutely insane. And I watch the session back. I like to watch the sessions and watch race highlights after I've done these because, quite frankly, it's very difficult to pay attention to a race properly and run a stream and keep an eye on timing and things like that. So I like to watch them back to see if there's anything I've missed. And yesterday, we were talking about it in the watch-along. Charles Leclerc locks up on his flying lap in Q1. If he doesn't lock up, he probably sets a time that gets him through into Q2. So in that respect, he has got to take some responsibility. But the bit that got me, so I completely agree with that, but the bit that was getting me yesterday was why on earth, when Sebastian Vettel can come into the pits with 3 minutes to go, can they get fuel in that car, tyres on that car, and get him out in the space of a minute and a half? He left the pits with a minute and 25 seconds to go. So they could do the quick turnaround. So why was Charles Leclerc just sat in there waiting? And I said yesterday, I think Leclerc's safe. That's how it looked at the time. But as somebody pointed out yesterday in chat, as soon as Ricciardo went 5th, it was obvious they needed to get him out. They had to get him out because the track was evolving. Drivers were getting quicker as they were pushing that a little bit harder and got used to the track. It just made sense to get him out. But they chose not to. He was frustrated afterwards. Some people saying he was disrespectful for being frustrated. I think that's absolute rubbish, by the way. But anyway, he said, I asked whether they were sure and they told me, we think we are. I said, should we go out again? But yeah, there was no real answers. I don't know. I didn't get any explanations yet in detail, but it is a very difficult one to take. Ferrari have since said, it was our fault. Sorry about that. They said we made a misjudgment of what we thought was the cut-off time. The cut-off time is calculated in real time, based on data we see on the track. On top of that cut-off time, we have a little bit of margin built in, and that margin is usually good enough for any tolerances of any uncertainties that might happen. What happened today, obviously yesterday, shows that the margin we applied wasn't sufficient, you think. And the track improvement was quite large at the end of Q1. Also, the margin wasn't considerate enough of the driver's ability to improve confidence at Monaco. Certainly, this is a factor at Monaco, and that isn't sufficient to calculate a cut-off time at Monaco, and today, that margin needed to be bigger. So they've come out and taken responsibility and then spent 5 minutes stating the obvious, something which we all managed to work out yesterday. So I don't know what's going on there. There are reports in Italy that some senior figures have been moved on. There were some reports before the weekend as well that they were going to bring in somebody back from Alfa. I can't remember his name now. Somebody will tell me in chat, I'm sure. But bring somebody back from Alfa Romeo into the Ferrari fold to try and sort the mess out. But it just is absolute nonsense. And this isn't just yesterday. This isn't even just this season. This has been going on, what? This channel is 2 years old at the end of June. And I feel like we've been talking about Ferrari strategy all that time. That's ridiculous. And the problem is, for me, when I look at it from the outside, I'm just keeping, if I go quiet, I'm just keeping an eye on the TV for when this minute silence might come for Nicky. People look like they're lining up ready. But I do just want to say, this all started back in June last year, July last year. Sergio Marchionne tragically passed away. It's not Ferrari's fault. That obviously absolute horrible situation and so sad. But he passed away, and since then they've just, the results almost instantly fell away, and there have been so many changes and so much turmoil and turbulence at that team. I think the worst thing they could have done was change management again in the winter, because you've already lost Sergio Marchionne, who, frankly, I don't know if people agree, I think was brilliant at the job at Ferrari. So you've already lost Sergio Marchionne tragically. You've then gone and let Raikkonen go to bring in Leclerc. And then before you know it, you're going to be replacing Arriva Bene. And that's a lot of turmoil for a team to get over in a very short space of time. And if you think Binotto, good guy, really good guy, quite like him with his PR and the way he deals with the press. But at the same time, he's got about 3 or 4 jobs to do. And that possibly even includes strategy. I don't know, but there's got to be changes there. It's got to be sorted, and I really worry for the immediate future of Ferrari. Not in the sport, but just winning things and getting back to winning titles, because I just don't think they can. There's got to be changes, but I'm probably going to do another video on Ferrari, because I could probably sit, or even a stream, I could sit for an hour and talk about the problems that we see at Ferrari. Might even do it for the podcast next week. I feel Binotto has the impossible job at the moment, if that makes sense. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see today. Hopefully they can get something right, and hopefully the season will turn around. It is only race 6. But I think for the championship, we're now looking at Hamilton versus Bottas, and maybe Red Bull being able to cause a bit of trouble at top. So, disappointing at the moment. I am just keeping a quick look at the screen. I think we're getting very close to the minute silence for Nicky. We'll do predictions after that, of course, just to maybe lighten things up a little bit. But I do want to talk about Nicky quickly. Martin Brundle says they've got a few seconds left, so I just want to say on Niki Lauda, it's been a very emotional week for the world of Formula One. He still is an absolute legend of the sport, whatever, and he's an absolute all-time hero of mine. He'll always rank among the greatest, not just for what he did on track, but for the things that he did off the track as well, and for the sport and for Mercedes. He's just such a huge loss to the sport, and the emotion around the sport. It is so sad that it takes this to bring the sport together, but I'm so pleased to see so many people paying tribute. Even I've got my red hat on, so I'm never going to forget Niki Lauda. I don't think the sport will let us, and I think that's right. There are a lot of drivers. But yeah, I don't really know what to say, except for the obvious, which is, of course, rest in peace, Nicky. Niki Lauda, who passed away earlier this week. Rest in peace, Nicky. Absolute legend. Of course, Niki Lauda would probably be the first one shouting, get on with it. The race has to go on. He was a racer after all, and an absolute inspiration to so many. So very sorely missed. Great respect there from everybody. It was great to see the noise from the harbour as well. Absolutely incredible. Obviously, national anthem now in Monaco, but phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal driver. But we'll get some predictions in. Let's look towards this race. We'll do strategy as well in a moment. In the chat, do let me know your predictions if you've got any at all for your winner. I'm going to read a couple from Twitter first, if it works, which is always a trick. See if we've got any predictions whatsoever. A lot of people I know earlier when I was looking through them were saying Hamilton, F1 in the 2000s, Hamilton win by 1 second from Bottas. Aaron says Hamilton to win, Leclerc won't make the top 10. On the contrary, Tommy Bellingham, WTF1, says Bottas to win, crazy prediction, Leclerc podium. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it, Leclerc to make it back to the podium. A lot of people just hoping for rain. Bottas wins. Rocket says Vettel wins. Double podium for Red Bull. That'd be quite a feat as well, I think, to be honest. Bottas for a crazy prediction. Magnussen on the podium. I don't think that's beyond the realms of possibility in Monaco. If he gets himself a good start like he did in 2017 and he gets up into third place, then he's got track position. That could be interesting. But a lot of people seem to be saying Hamilton for the win and a Mercedes 1-2. Looks like you guys are very much saying the same. Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas, says Rich. Ain't no rain expected. That's a good comment. No, rain is not expected at the moment. What else have we got in there? Leclerc, says Alex Shaw. We'll talk about Leclerc in a minute, actually, see if we can see where he's going to come back to. Bottas, Hamilton, Vettel, Verstappen, Hamilton, Magnussen. Bottas, Verstappen, Hamilton. So a lot of you expecting Mercedes to go pretty well today. I think that's a safe bet unless they wipe each other out in turn one. Bottas to win. Bottas again. Quite a few going for Bottas, actually. K-Mag podium. A few predicting that, which I think will be incredible. It'd be good to see a non-top 3 team on the podium, wouldn't it? I know we had Perez last year, but it does feel like forever since that happened. Kimi, says Ninja. Okay. Not entirely sure myself. Leclerc in the points, so that's going to lead me on to that. Where do you think Leclerc's going to get to? I've popped him down for 7th. By the way, in terms of my winning prediction, I ought to say I've gone Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen because I'm boring. But I think Charles Leclerc can do 7th. The reason I'm saying 7th is because Max Verstappen, of course, got back to 9th last year from 20th on the grid. So a couple more places. He says he's going to go aggressive. I think he's got a chance. I'd be on a normal track, so not Monaco. I'd be surprised if he didn't make the top 5. But here it would be, I think 7th would be a pretty good recovery. I don't think we're talking championship for Leclerc or Vettel this year anyway, so it's about can he beat his teammate and can his teammate beat him? So I think that's the fight we're watching there. Yeah, I'm going to go 7th place. 12th, so what do you think? 12th there, so not confident. A few people actually over on Twitter weren't confident in getting into the points. It is Monaco. Jacob Smith says 9th, P8 for Leclerc, says Justin. Leclerc top 5. Oh, that could be. Oh, again, on a standard track, I would expect that, but I'm not quite sure about Monaco. If anyone's got a link, there's a couple of people asking, so please feel free to share that. Mods should let you share a link to streams, so long as they're not, too dodgy. I know any stream that isn't official is dodgy, but you know what I mean. Hulk will bottle it, says Alexander. Where is he? P11, isn't he? Is Hulkenberg. Free choice of tyre. I don't know. He seems to get himself into a good position, Nico Hulkenberg, recently, doesn't he? And then bin it in the wall. Natalie Pinkham chatting to Pierre Gasly there. Great to see all the drivers in those Nicky Lauda caps, by the way. But strategy-wise, Pirelli, the one-stopper, shocking, is the quickest way around Monaco. Soft tyres, this is super soft tyres for apparently 10 to 22 laps, so nothing specific. 10 to 22 laps, and then wonderfully, the hard tyre all the way to the end of the race. Slightly slower is to go 18 to 25, 26 laps on the softs, and then switch to the mediums for the rest of the race. And then definitely slower is how they've written it on their thing, is a two-stopper, which is soft, hard, which is odd. I would have gone soft, medium, or soft, medium, soft, but Pirelli know better than me. I don't expect two stoppers today, unless we get some rain or we get some safety cars, because track position is everything, absolutely everything in Monaco, and people are not going to be willing, I wouldn't have thought, to lose that track position because they might be able to put on quicker tyres, because the tyres don't really matter, do they, here? They're going to last whatever, which is why they take the softest compounds, so I'd like to see multiple stops. I'd also like to see rain. Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do very quickly. I don't usually do this while we're live. I will go over to the weather app and just see what it's saying for Monaco at the moment. Oh, yay. No rain. In fact, the rain that was supposed to come in about 5 p.m. has apparently disappeared. So, not looking good. Not looking good. I wonder if Liberty paid off people to tell us that. I'm joking. Paid off to tell us that we were going to get some rain to get us all excited. So, no rain at the moment. But it's been all over the place this week. One day it's going to, the next day it's not. So, you never know. It could rain. But either way, it is Monaco. And as somebody pointed out earlier, and as everyone will keep telling you, anything can happen. It may well be that Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas go into turn one as they are. In fact, it may well be that the top 10 go into turn one as they are, and that's how it stays to the end of the race. Or Giovinazzi could win. That's a problem in Monaco. I'm pretty sure that Olivier Panis, when he rocked up in 1996, didn't expect to be winning the race. And he did, of course. So, yeah, I'm just watching the camera. Track looks nice and dry. I mean, say what you want about Monaco. It's not great for racing unless you do get chaos, but it is a spectacle. It is a spectacle. I think we've got some super chats because one's just popped in. In fact, I know we've got some super chats because I've just read that one. So thank you very much to Lord Pidder, I think it is, for your contribution. Says, R.I.P. Nicky, you made the country proud. Haas podium ? I think K-Mag could be a dark horse in this one. And absolutely rest in peace to Nicky once again. And Alan, thank you very much for your donation. Says, result, Mercedes 1-2. Get in there, Lewis. Max third, easy. So yes, thank you very much for your contributions. Don't forget, you can contribute. I keep saying contributions. You can contribute to the stream via PayPal, Streamlabs, and the Super Chat here on YouTube. All the links you need are in the description down below. You can follow me on social media as well. We'll head over to the timing screen a couple of minutes before the session gets going. There was something I was going to share, but I think I might do it in a channel update because I'm just going to annoy people with it. So, but yes, I do share too much. I'm fully aware that I do. I know I'm like that, but I'm just going to pop my earphone. That sounds so official, but it's not. It's my dodgy earphones and only one side works. So I'm just going to pop that in my ear and have a listen now to what's going on. Paul Di Resta on the grid. Still loving the Mercedes tribute to Niki Lauda. And I think Lewis Hamilton, just looking there, has got a Niki Lauda tribute helmet actually as well. So was he wearing that yesterday? I don't think he was. But yeah. I think from a neutral perspective, we want to see a bit of chaos. But I think as well, a Mercedes 1-2 would be the perfect way to honour Niki Lauda. So I think, I don't know, maybe I'm in the minority, but if they get a 1-2 today, it's going to be a little bit easier to swallow than it was 2 weeks ago, if that makes sense. So no hate on Mercedes. I have no problem with the team dominating because, it's up to the other teams to catch them up. But yeah, take a couple of questions. Cool Timing have your logo on their website. They do. I didn't put the link in the description. I'm going to do that very, very quickly now. So if I go quiet for a second, because after all, I am a man, hate to be a stereotype and all that, and multitasking is not my thing. So I'm just going to put a link in the description. So I don't know if you'll need to refresh your streams to see it. To cooltiming.com. They are the stream partners, official stream partners, exclusive stream partners, actually. They're the ones that do those. Well, Cool Timings. It's a very apt name that you saw last week that everyone seemed to really, really like. They are visually, they're pretty spot on. So there is a link in the description now to that one. So apologies once again because I forgot last week about that one. But yes, so we'll be going to that one in a moment. But yeah, that's why the logo's over there. Do you think Gunther should get Kvyat to replace Grosjean for next season? Serious question, says Steve. My gut feeling right now is this is Romain Grosjean's last season in Formula 1. I spoke to Dan about this a few weeks ago, possibly even on a stream, and even he was surprised last year when Grosjean's contract was renewed. So I feel like this is his last season, and I think they could do a lot worse than Kvyat. He's been one of the drivers. Both Toro Rosso boys this year have been absolutely brilliant compared to what I expected. And there have been a few drivers that are surprising me. Positively, and McLaren as a team, they're surprising me as well. So I think Grosjean will go. Kvyat could be a good shout, but they've got Fittipaldi, haven't they? They might want to put one of their drivers in. Ferrari have got a number of drivers that they might want to put in if they can do a deal there. Maybe if Gio improves, he might get promoted in a Fuoco, as an example, might end up in the Alpha. I doubt it, but Ferrari drivers. So Maybe. How many crashes and spins before Vettel gets dropped, says James? Oh, I don't think Vettel will get dropped. I think if they decide they don't want him anymore, they'll just let his contract run down. As the music starts for Monaco, bit of hype building. They're testing the yellow flags now out on track because it's just flashed up on the timing screen. So we are ready to go in Monte Carlo. Does anybody, I know we don't get phenomenal races here all the time, but do people still get a little bit hyped for Monaco, even though you can pretty much guarantee it's not going to be epic? It's watching those cars so close to the wall, isn't it? It's drivers on the edge. I still get hyped for it, and then every year I'm let down. Or what feels like every year. But in which case I just go back and watch the likes of Monaco 97. Definitely. James Howe says quali. Yes. Yes, that is what it's all about, isn't it, for Monaco, really? I feel like with quali, a few people saying that they get hyped, but more for the qualifying than the race. I think the thing with quali is it's still only one car at a time, but at least there's something happening, isn't there? Sometimes in the race it gets a bit dull, but I'm trying not to put people off. It might be brilliant, and we're getting people through. Thank you very much, Jared, for your subscription there. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new to the channel. Massively appreciated. If I can shout you out, I will. But like I say, I've got 4 monitors technically to look at, so I often miss things, which is why I watch the races back before I do the debriefs on a Monday. Don't forget we will be live as well for the race reaction stream. I don't know why I had to break reaction up into 2 words, but the race reaction stream, I'll be live with Chamber, and Jonty is back. Oh, yes, he is. People are there. They're going to be so happy. Jonty is back this afternoon. We're going to go live pretty much immediately within half an hour of the race watch-along finishing, because we want to be done in time for Indy, because we know that a lot of people are going to want to go off and watch the Indy 500, but we'll talk about that later, because now it is all about the Monaco Grand Prix, showing some of Max Verstappen's overtakes from last year. So overtaking is possible. We'll head over to the timing screen in just a moment, just waiting for it to update. It takes about a lap, I think. The first lap will have to go by before it updates, so you'll have to bear with that a little bit. I'm sure some of you will. What have we got? Yes, we are, ST. Ericsson to win at Indy. Why not? Didn't he win the pit stop challenge? Or am I making that up? Did I dream that? I often dream of Marcus Ericsson fantasies about winning, but Hamilton and Bottas are on the front row. Verstappen 3rd, Vettel 4th, Magnussen 5th, Ricciardo 6th, Kvyat in 7th, Gasly in 8th, Sainz in 9th, and Alexander Albon rounding out the top 10. Nico Hülkenberg with his free choice of tyres in 11th place. Lando Norris in 12th. We've got Rogro in 13th and Nakimsta in 14th. I did just say that. Charlie Boy is down in 15th place with Checo in 16th. I don't know why I'm going with nicknames here. Lance Stroll is in 17th with Gio in 18th place. And then at the back of the grid, it is the 2 Williams boys of George Russell and Robert Bobbert Kubica. Oh, Williams points. Has anyone predicted that yet? Usually we get 1, and that's unlikely. In Monaco, it is possible. You never know. Light rain in 15 minutes is what Crofty is saying. So it's not going to rain because Crofty's saying that. What will happen is it'll be dry, and then just as Lewis Hamilton or whoever wins the race gets to the podium, it will chuck it down. It will absolutely chuck it down, like we saw in Germany last year. We all get excited for rain, and then it didn't come until literally the last second. We shall see. So start tyres, everyone in the top 10 on softs. Then you've got Hülkenberg and Norris on mediums. Rogro and Kimi on softs. Mediums for Leclerc, Perez and Stroll. Gio on softs. And then mediums for Russell and Kubica. So Leclerc's going long early on. But with overtaking so difficult, I don't think it really matters too much what tyre you're on, except he can run longer. So they're going for it. Yeah. If you are just tuning in, strategy is expected to be a one-stopper. Lap 10 to 22. On the soft. So what about the mediums then? So if Pirelli is saying a one-stopper soft to medium is 35 to 60 laps on the mediums, in theory, Charles Leclerc can go very close to the end of the race on those medium tyres. I suppose it depends how much life he's going to take out of them as he's pushing to try and win this one. F19KA says, there was rain in Germany last year. Gasly even went on full wets. What on earth? The funny thing about that with poor Pierre Gasly and poor Toro Rosso is we joke about them now. We joke about them for that decision. But if it had chucked it down, that would have been one of the best strategical calls we've seen in years in Formula One. It was one of those hero or zero moments. So, yes. Do you see Alfa Romeo doing anything? Not expecting it. I'm very disappointed with their pace this weekend. I was in Spain as well, to be fair, but we are on the risk of rain for this session is 90%, so the race control field need to tell us that. So it's not in the rain. But yeah, they're on the formation lap. I was going to say something's gone out of my head now. And then I'll go over to the timing screen in just a moment because, well, I'll go over now, but it'll just take a little while. It takes about a lap for that to update, so you will have to bear with me. And anybody in chat that wants to tell people that come in and start giving me abuse for not updating the timing screen that is automatic and will do so, we're about a lap into the race, then please feel free because I don't want to get snappy with people today. I want to be in a good mood. And I'm hoping we get a race to keep me in a good mood. Loads of racing this weekend. What have we had so far? I even watched the Porsche Super Cup this morning around Monaco. I've not watched that for years. I'm just in a proper racing mood this weekend. Formula 2, Formula 1, the Berlin E-Prix, Indy 500, Porsche Super Cup. It's brilliant. Brilliant. So Kroon Chandot's talking about rain in the sea. I don't know where he stood. Maybe an odd place to stand in the sea. And it's on its way into the circuit. So we're going to spend the next 15 minutes talking about rain and then the following hour sulking about the fact there was no rain. I'm just predicting it. I wonder if anyone might take a gamble. Like, you know, Kubica or somebody pop in for a bit of a switch to Inters. I very much doubt it because there's no guarantee it's coming in. It would have to absolutely chuck it down. They're just on the formation lap. They're coming around Rascast. Timing will update somewhere around the first lap or towards the end of it. So just please do bear that in mind. And we will go from there. So they're coming around that final corner now. Lewis Hamilton. Then Bottas. Few burnouts on the way to the grid. Martin Brunner just saying there, he's been doing commentary for so many years and they've been talking about Monaco rain for years. So Lewis Hamilton there, the camera picking him up from above. Lovely helmet design. Right on that yellow line. Thank you very much for your subscription there. Don't forget you can subscribe if you're new. Loads still to come this weekend and over next week as well. But here we go. The lights are coming on. 3 lights, 4 and 5 lights. Here we go in Monaco. It's a good start for Lewis Hamilton. Valtteri Bottas looked a little bit sluggish. And Max Verstappen is alongside Bottas into turn 1. Will he get the fin? And no, he doesn't. Bottas covers the line really well. And it looks like everybody gets through turn 1 unscathed. But Valtteri Bottas very nearly pipped there into turn 1 by Max Verstappen. But unfortunately, Max couldn't get that done. Decided to back out in the end, which I think was smart because there was not a lot of room in there. And Daniel Ricciardo's had a storming start up into P4. I think is that Ricciardo P4? It is. Magnussen down to 5th. Gasly up to 6th. 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th at the moment for Leclerc, who's trying to go around the outside of a McLaren at the hairpin. There is contact there, and we've got yellow flags on track as well. Timing will update shortly. Don't worry, everybody. It just takes a lap. They have to get the first lap on the board before it all updates. But yes, Ricciardo up to P4. Really good start. Lewis Hamilton has a decent lead at the moment. And the live timing is coming. It's just updated on the page. There we go. We are go. Everything running nicely. But Hamilton at the moment pulling away out front quite well. Nearly a second clear of Valtteri Bottas at the moment. Max Verstappen already starting to fall back, but he's pulling away. He's not falling back at all. He's catching Bottas and pulling away a little bit from Sebastian Vettel. So good start for Max Verstappen. I think Verstappen got a cracking start. I want to see a replay of that. And he kind of came up the inside of turn 1. Bottas kept his foot in round the outside and managed to hold the position. And Verstappen, I don't know if he did get out of it, but it looked as though he got out of it a little bit. But really decent. Really, really decent start for him. Of course, on the soft tyre at the moment. And we've got Hülkenberg still 11th. He's gone absolutely nowhere. Who else we got? Leclerc up to 14th. He did try to go around the outside of Lando Norris at the hairpin. Didn't quite work. There was a little bit of contact as well. We did have a yellow flag, but that debris is cleared. The marshals in Monaco are so flipping good. They really are. They clear things so quickly. Thank you very much, Dylan, for subscribing, mate. I'll try and shout these out as I can, but I will miss loads. And thank you very much, Jared. Has been here since 10k subs. Thank you very much. What have we got then? So it's, Hamilton about a second up the road. So watching Leclerc down the inside at the hairpin this time on Lando Norris. He is going aggressive early on. Charles Leclerc has to up to 13th place. It's a good move. And already the Mercs are up the road. Hamilton 1:17.1, 1.1 clear of his teammate. You've then got Max Verstappen a further 1.2 seconds back. I was going to say out of DRS range, but I don't think that's really that much of an issue in Monaco. DRS, you've got to be brave to go for it into turn one. Turn one incident, leaving the track and gaining an advantage is under investigation. Leclerc I saw go off. I think one of the Alphas did as well, and definitely a Williams. So they could be under investigation, but I don't think... no, Ricciardo 5th, sorry. He was 5th. I wasn't looking at Verstappen for some reason. I was watching behind and I was just looking at the Ferrari and saw Ricciardo behind. So Ricciardo is 5th, not 4th. But still, got ahead of Magnussen. Didn't he start 7th actually, or 6th? So yeah, got ahead of Magnussen, who a lot of people think might nick a podium today if we get some chaos. Watching a replay of Charles Leclerc once again right up the inside of Lando Norris. How many times are we going to see that replay today? Depends on the race, doesn't it really, I suppose? But already, actually, Leclerc right on the back of Romain Grosjean and his Hulkenberg and Albon. He needs to get himself into the point. So a good opening couple of laps for Leclerc. I don't know if any of these drivers are going to make things a little bit easier for him with it being a Ferrari. Has a look into Rascash, just a little tiny look, but not going to get through there. No investigation necessary for the stuff in turn one, apparently. So that's fine as Hamilton across the line on a 16.7. And he's not close enough at the moment for Grosjean. Right, I think we see a lot of Leclerc today as the Mercs start to, I wouldn't say disappear. Verstappen's within a second and a half of Bottas and only 3 off the lead, but we are only on lap 4. So, yeah. Charles Leclerc didn't go for it up the inside this time around. Field's starting to spread out a little bit in places, as you kind of expect. Watching the replay of the start here, are they going to show Max? So Max Verstappen, he seems to get a better second phase to the start. Goes late on the brakes up the inside, and then Bottas just braves it around the outside to keep that position. And then, yeah, a couple of drivers off. In fact, I don't even think Q-Bits had tried to get through turn one in the end there. But I thought Max Verstappen had got him. I thought Verstappen had that corner, but Bottas braved it out around the outside. So good stuff. I'll explain the live timing for anybody that's new in just a moment as well. But on board with Verstappen, yeah. I thought he had that, but no. Bottas just so good. So good. And a relieved Toto Wolff. That was definitely a big exhale there from him. Leclerc, if you're wondering, is still behind Grosjean, 12th and 13th place at the moment. Good afternoon, RC, mate. Good to see you on the stream. Bottas fastest lap 16.3. So the timing then, as you can see, the tyre life, which is being shown next to each name, is the projected one. So that's from Pirelli data pre-race and after practice. So obviously that isn't live. They could be better condition than that, but that is how they should be or are expected to be at this stage of the race. You'll also see when drivers are within DRS range of the car in front. And the vertical bar you see going down on the timings, that is where a driver will return after their pit stop. So at the moment, Lewis Hamilton will come out somewhere around about Lance Stroll if he were to pit, for example. So quite a lot of information on there. As Charles Leclerc has a little look up the inside of the Nouvelle chicane, but it's not going to happen there. Grosjean staying just defensive enough. He's got the medium tyres on as well, so we'll be running long, will Charles Leclerc. So, yeah. So what is he off the lead already, Leclerc? As he has another look into Rascash. He's already 23 seconds off the lead. That's the trouble when you get stuck in traffic, you see. So, coming down straight, Grosjean has the DRS because he's just behind Nico Hulkenberg. So I think this is the fight we're going to be watching today. Is probably, what do we reckon? probably Ricciardo down, to be honest, in that midfield. Ricciardo 8 tenths up from Magnussen, 1.3 further back is Gasly, 1.2 back is Sainz, 6 tenths behind that is Kvyat, Albon only 8 tenths behind that one. So really small gaps. The gaps are sort of between half a second and a second and a half between each of those cars. So nice good scrapping in there. But up front at the moment, as you can see on screen, Lewis Hamilton, pretty comfortable, 1.3 up the road, but Verstappen's still only 1.6 and does a purple middle sector as well. So here goes Leclerc again. Will he have a go into the Nouvelle chicane? He's a long way back, so I'd be surprised. Of course, last year it was brake failure there. We've got yellow flags on track, but now they're green. Every time I see a yellow flag in Monaco, we get excited, don't we? But yeah, last year, of course, at that chicane, Leclerc brake failure into the back of a Brendan Hartley, wasn't it? So big accident, that one. Oh, he's having a look up the inside of Rascasse again. What if he ought to maybe stop doing that and just keep close and get a good run down the straight into turn 1? But Grosjean has DRS as well, so that's not going to help him down the straight. He's trying. He said he was going to go aggressive, and he's trying. I do feel like this is going to be one of those. It could end up in a Leclerc stream because that's all we're going to be talking about, because at the moment things are looking pretty settled everywhere else. But those three are catching Albon now. So Albon, Hülkenberg, Grosjean and Leclerc are all in the same shot. I thought he might have a go there, but I don't think they're so close. So I'm just screwing Chandler there, and I just looked at the timings, and he's spot on. Ricciardo, 7 laps into this race, is 21 seconds off the lead. 7 laps. Yeah. Vettel has done the fastest lap of the race. Where's that come from? A 1:16.2. And I tell you what, actually, the top 4, if we want to talk times, I know we all get excited by, oh, there goes Leclerc up the inside of Grosjean. What a move. Oh. It's an obvious comparison to make, but shades of Bianchi into Rascasse. What a move. I want to see that again. Leclerc past Grosjean for 12th. He just goes for it up the inside. Is the contact? There is a little bit, maybe. On board with him now. Let's have a look. Oh, that is a good move. Or maybe a tiny brush, but not a lot of contact. Grosjean. So I think Grosjean feels there was a little bit of contact, but if there was, it was the slightest bit. But a really good move from Charlie Leclerc up into... Start calling him Charlie, Sean. Up into 12th place. Gunther Steiner saying he can take the risk. He's got nothing to lose. Absolutely. And ultimately, if that's the mood Charles Leclerc has turned up in, the winners of that are us. Very exciting stuff. So he's up into 12th place. So overtaking is happening. Take a breath. I will run through the order. Next time round, we'll try and do it every 10 laps. It seems ridiculous in some respects because the order's on the screen, but I also know that some people just listen and can't watch as well. So, oh, and there goes Charles Leclerc on the inside of Hülkenberg. Oh, and he spun it. Halfway round, he's going to fall back behind Grosjean. And I think he's going to end up behind Norris. No, he isn't. He just keeps ahead of him. But that was a little bit of... I feel like having just got Grosjean done, he could have waited a couple of laps. Let's have a look then. So, he's gone for it up the inside. He has gone quite low. Yeah, the gap's not quite as big as the one that was left for... I think that's a Ferrari. I don't think there's any contact with... No. I think he's hit the inside wall. Yeah, so what's happened is Leclerc hasn't hit Hülkenberg. He's got a puncture as well. Oh, it's all going wrong. And he's holding up the traffic as well. But he's come through Rascasse and he's hit the wall on the inside with his right rear tyre, and that's pitched him round to a point, sort of half a spin, and it's giving him a puncture as well. And now he's got to go through the tunnel with traffic flying past him with a puncture. That is not going to be fun. So Charles Leclerc is going to be plumb last here, and that gamble on strategy is not going to pay off. And I go back to what I said a minute ago. I feel like he could have left that a lap or two. Settled down. He got himself up into 12th place. He's on the best strategy. That's flailing all over the race over. I'll be surprised if that's not race over. That is ripping bodywork off all over the place. We might get a safety car as well. Destroying the floor. It's frustration from Leclerc. He's angry and frustrated. He's ripping his car to bits. Game over. Leclerc's out, surely. That could rip the rear wing off yet. And there's a lot of debris on track. So Hulkenberg coming in for a change of tyres, maybe preempting the safety car. In he comes. I think that's race over. We'll have a look, see if we can get a shot of the rear of the car. Oh, that's ripped the floor to pieces. He'll try it. A lot of people here getting ready to react. I think we might see a safety car. A lot of debris. So people are getting ready just in case here. But if you're just tuning in, Charles Leclerc was giving us lots of action. Made a great overtake into Rascasse on Grosjean. And then a lap later, threw it up the inside of Hulkenberg, hit the barrier with his inside right tyre, and that pitched him round, and it gave him a puncture, and now he's been lapped by the leaders, and his teammates come up to lap him as well, and he lets him go. And he's got so much damage to the floor. I'd be surprised if he gets any points out of this today, but a safety car could yet be deployed, and of course then he'd be allowed to unlap himself, so maybe. And safety car is deployed. Hamilton says tyres are starting to fall apart, so that's come at the right time for him. But if tyres are falling apart after a handful of laps, 10 laps? 11 laps, not even that. Oh, the damage to his floor. Showing a slow-mo of Leclerc's damage, that is a lot. But yeah, so safety car's out, so we can take a minute. Coffee, anyone? For coffee? So Leclerc will be able to unlap himself. Hamilton's saying his tyres are destroyed after 11 laps. So I wonder if Hulkenberg preempted that. Mercedes and Ferrari there. I like the safety car graphic. Good work from Cool Timing. I like that a lot. Levels it all out. Nice. It's just good work. Definitely check out the site in the description. So they're double stacking. I think we've got an unsafe... we have got an unsafe release and contact between Verstappen and Bottas in the pit lane. Bottas... I think Verstappen's got the position, but I think we've only seen the end of that. I think that's a penalty. I think that could be a penalty for Max. And there's a lot of debris coming off the back of that Red Bull as well. Let's just wait a moment. I want to see a replay of that. I'm not going to say it is an unsafe release, but if there's contact and he's in the path of Bottas, that could go down as a penalty. The safety car's picking up Hamilton. Verstappen is second at the minute. I will go through the order for those that are just listening in just a second. I just want to see a replay of this Verstappen thing before we go any further. So here we go. Oh. If gone to hards as well, I think that's a penalty. Sorry, Verstappen fans. He's been released. Bottas is easily alongside that pit box as Verstappen's released. He's then come out, come across, and they've made contact in the pit lane, which of course is dangerous as well. And I think that is a penalty all day long. And Verstappen is currently P2. So, and he'd gone to the hard tyre as well, as has Vettel. Interestingly enough, the Mercedes have only gone to the mediums. It depends how long the safety car stays out. It might be a while because there's quite a lot of debris, but it depends how long the safety car stays out. According to Pirelli, 35 to 60 laps is what you'd expect on the mediums. So they're going to have to do some tyre saving, of course, because that's Formula 1 these days. I think the stewards will Crofty. Crofty's saying it'll be a penalty if they find an unsafe release. I think it will be an unsafe release. And Bottas pits. Bottas pits again. And they've put him on the hard tyre. So why has Bottas pitted? Puncture, maybe? Right. Apparently, well, Sky are trying to work that one out themselves, but Martin Brundle's saying there that they think that the hard tyres are more likely to get to the end than the mediums, and so they've brought Bottas in to put them on to get him to the end, but Hamilton's on the mediums. So unless Hamilton disappears up the road by quite a margin and gets a pit stop in his pocket, at the moment, especially if Verstappen gets a penalty, Vettel would be the net leader and possible winner of this race. Assuming Bottas and Hamilton can't overtake. And Vishal in the chat saying exactly what I was just saying there. There you go. Great minds and all that, mate. Great minds think alike. Yeah. So at the moment, unless Hamilton can disappear or get the overtakes done after pit stops, Vettel is your net race leader, because I would be very surprised if Verstappen doesn't get a penalty for that release. Very surprised. But I am going to knock on wood. Nice and loudly so you can hear me, because yesterday in qualifying I said I thought Leclerc was safe, and that went really well. Under safety car then. Thank you very much, Delroy, for your subscription. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and please, if you wouldn't mind, it's like I'm begging, don't I? Please, if you could drop a like on the video, guys, that would be absolutely awesome. It gives the channel a hell of a boost. It gives me a boost. It only takes a second to do, so yes, please do drop a like if you could, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new. But on lap 13, about to cross, no, it is lap 13, sorry, under the safety car in Monaco, Lewis Hamilton leads the race on the medium tyres. He's pitted, 2 seconds up the road from Verstappen, doesn't matter because they're under safety car. Verstappen second on the hards, but I expect he will have to take a penalty for an unsafe release. We're not sure if Hamilton can get to the end of the race on those mediums, which means at the moment Sebastian Vettel could be sitting pretty in third place on the hard tyres. Bottas in fourth. He's now pitted twice under safety car, once for the mediums, and then the team decided to pull him in a lap later to put the hards on to make sure he definitely got to the end. Pierre Gasly is fifth. Carlos Sainz is sixth. Seventh for Kvyat. Eighth for Albon. Ninth for Grosjean. 10th for Norris. And 11th for Stroll. 12th for Raikkonen. In fact, Gasly, Sainz, Kvyat, Albon, Grosjean, Norris, Stroll and Raikkonen are all yet to stop. Mixtures of tyres in there, with all on the soft except for Norris and Stroll. Ricciardo has pitted. He's in 13th. Magnussen 14th. Ricciardo was running 5th, by the way. 14th for Magnussen, 15th for Kubica, who is yet to stop. He'll get a nosebleed running that high. 16th place for Antonio Giovinazzi, he hasn't stopped either. Sergio Perez 17th, 18th for Hulkenberg, 19th for Russell, they've all stopped. And Charles Leclerc, of course, who is the reason for that safety car, is running 20th, a lap down, but I would imagine will be able to unlap himself. I was waiting for somebody to say that. Crashgate 2.0. Safety car is ending. Oh, there's always one. Sorry. Tickled me. But yes, into the pits comes the safety car, and Hamilton has bolted as we come out of the swimming pool. Verstappen just behind. He will be... Oh, no, he hasn't bolted. And he's backed them up again, and then he'll bolt again through Raskas, I'd imagine. And does indeed. And Verstappen's going to put the power down. Vettel in third. He needs to keep Bottas behind him if he can. Pierre Gasly right on the back of Bottas, but Hamilton got a really good restart. Very good start. A second up the road from Max Verstappen already. Sebastian Vettel in third place, fourth for Bottas, fifth for Gasly, and then behind that they're already falling away with Carlos Sainz running up in sixth place, yet to stop, of course. So safety car is in. Oh, and Vettel with a real wobble over the bump on the run down to Mirabeau. Well saved. Bottas can have a look into the hairpin. No, he is not. No rain, by the way, at this moment, so that would just spice it up even more. But it's been a decent start, actually. It seemed to quieten down, and then Charles Leclerc gave us all a bit of drama. Not bad at all so far. So timing will update in a second. They like to get a few sectors down before the data updates, but we are under racing conditions now. Safety car has ended. 63 laps still. We're on lap 15 of 78, so plenty still to happen. And that is a long way to run on the mediums for Hamilton. We've got yellow flags, which have now been cleared. We're now green again. So Hamilton might struggle on tyres, but as I've said already, said at the start of this, track position is king in Monaco, so it's not really... He can manage them. as best he can. We keep getting yellow flags. Oh, and we've got a crash, and that's going through a swimming pool. No, it isn't. It's Raskas. Will that be a red flag? No, they can get round, and it's a Williams. I think that's Kubica, who's been in a spin at Raskas, and Leclerc, being opportunistic, is going to go down the outside. That might be a penalty on Antonio Giovinazzi. So what happened there? So we've got Giovinazzi up the inside of Kubica. They make contact, puts Kubica in a spin, and that then blocks the track, and everyone has to sit and wait. That's cost them all a lot of time, but he has got going again. Charles Leclerc was quite opportunistic there. Could see that Kubica was going to pull forward. Kind of went to the outside of Giovinazzi, and then went round him. Got going first, so he should be all right with that. So we've got a replay Max Verstappen in the pits here. Oh. We've not even seen if this is under investigation yet. There we go. They are just listening to Martin Brundle there. Yes, it is under investigation now. Max Verstappen for an unsafe release. Martin Brundle thinks that's a slam dunk, but he was saying it's difficult to see. So Leclerc he's down to 20th now apparently on the timing. So is it game over for Leclerc? Leclerc can win the pits. I think he's going to retire. In he comes. They're changing the tyres. They're going to the soft tyres. I don't... okay. Right. So Bottas came in because of a drop in tyre pressure after the contact in the pits. So that is why he made the second stop. So it wasn't actually strategical. It was on the safety side of things. Max Verstappen is under investigation, and Charles Leclerc, for whatever reason, is pitted for the soft tyres. I'm confused. I'm very confused. But at the moment, Sebastian Vettel's still sitting very pretty. So Leclerc just said on team radio, I don't want to give up, but I'm telling you the car is extremely difficult to drive. So I think we might be seeing a retirement soon. But the problem with Monaco is he might as well stay out another few laps. Give it a little bit of time because it might chuck it down with rain. Maybe a little bit of a spot of rain on the camera there. Might be opportunistic. It might be being whatever. Optimistic is the word I'm after. So you might as well stick out just for now and see what goes on. It is Monaco. Ricciardo's pitted on the safety car and is currently P13 for whoever just asked that one. Left hook. So he's there, but we've got quite a few drivers yet to stop. Gasly, Sainz, Kvyat, Albon. In fact, Gasly, all the way down to Raikkonen in 12th, have yet to stop. Charles Leclerc in to retire, so they're not going to leave him out and see what happens. Game over for Charles Leclerc. He is out of the Monaco Grand Prix. Frustrating for Leclerc, but he says he was going to go for it, didn't he? He said he was going to go for it, and it's... yeah. Leclerc out. Timing data is okay. Just had a message from the Cool Timing saying that the data for Planet F1 is being a bit erratic. So if it does, it might not. I'm just looking at it now. According to the live timing I'm looking at, it's about accurate. So yeah. Giovinazzi under investigation for causing a collision. Raskas, that I would think might be a penalty. He's having a good day as Giovinazzi, or a good weekend at all, is he? So Hamilton isn't quick, and Crofty with a theory in commentary that with the concerns over whether those tyres are going to get to the end, he might be driving to a delta set by the team, so he might be in for a management race up front. For now from Lewis Hamilton. We'll see if he can pick up the pace later, but at the moment, 1:18.6, well off where they were. In fact, I think Vettel did a 16-something earlier in the race. So Hamilton might be doing a Ricciardo from last year and nursing his car to the end of this race. Again, track position in Monaco, critical. Absolutely critical. But it's been, I have to say, I don't know if everyone will agree, but I think there's been more action in the first 20 laps in terms of overtaking and drama in Monaco than there was in Spain. And Monaco was the one that was supposed to be the most boring. So I'm quite happy so far. It's been a good watch. And now we've even got the strategy intrigue thrown in there as well. And rain is still a threat. Of course, Verstappen under investigation. I wonder if that investigation, I'm probably going to jinx it now. It'll get the decision now, but I just wonder if that might take a little while. It might be, Red Bull might be arguing quite hard for that one. He's P2 at the moment. There are a few spots of moisture on some of the camera lenses. I don't want to get too excited. It could be from anywhere. And they are by the sea. Kind of going to depend, isn't it, on what they're kind of debating this on Sky, what penalty he gets as to what it does for Verstappen's race. If it's a drive-through, it's game over. If it's, say, a 5-second penalty, he might be able to take that under safety car before a pit stop and minimise the damage. Can you take penalties under safety car? I know you can't take drive-throughs under safety cars, but I'd assume time penalties you can. Maybe you should open the rule book for that one after this and have a look. Team ready for Hamilton. Hamilton says, does James think I'm in trouble with his tyres? Bono telling him what he's doing is great. And they are looking for tyre management. So he is concerned about the tyres of Lewis Hamilton already. Just to confirm on tyres, Hamilton medium, Verstappen hard, 33 Sean, stop it. Vettel on the hard tyres, Bottas on the hard tyres, and then you've got Gasly, Sainz, Kvyat, Albon, Grosjean, and Norris on the softs. No, you haven't. Norris on the mediums, sorry. Stroll, Raikkonen as well. I've got conflicting bits of information here. Actually, Raikkonen's on the softs and Stroll's on the mediums. So yeah, a good mix in that top few with tyres. Gasly running nice along on those soft tyres as well. Sticking to strategy. But Hamilton just definitely managing this race. And do you know how we know he's managing the race? Because he's driving slowly. 1:18.9 on the last lap. But you look at the gaps. It was 7 laps into the race. He was 21 seconds clear of Ricciardo in 5th. Currently, the gap back to Gasly in 5th is 3.7 off the lead. And can I just say as well, I'm loving the irony. Having spent all yesterday gobbing off about Ferrari strategy and the start of this stream moaning about Ferrari strategists. If Vettel wins this race because they put the hard tyres on at the safety car pit stop, that is a great strategy call. The irony behind that I've got it right. Long way to go yet. Time penalty for Max Verstappen. It is a 5-second time penalty, which actually isn't that hard a penalty. That's not a hard penalty, personally. I don't think that is. 5 seconds means, like I say, he can take that at a pit stop. And if he's able to do that, under a safety car, it minimises the damage even further. Oh, that's a tough one. Yes, Crofty, good word. He said interesting penalty. That is an interesting penalty. I was honestly expecting a minimum of 10 seconds. I didn't expect they'd go as low as 5. With it being an unsafe release, contact with another car, and contact in the pit lane. So he needs... Yeah, what Martin Brundle just said. I'll just relay it. Is what I was going to say, but I'll relay it anyway. He needs to get on the back of Hamilton, put the pressure on, try and get past, and then disappear whilst Hamilton has to look after his tyres if he wants to win this race. He needs a 5-second gap, a 5.1 second gap. Oh, it doesn't even matter. 5 seconds and 1,000th if he wants to win this race from the car behind. So he needs to pass Lewis Hamilton to win this race. This could be interesting. He's going to have to push him. They're going to have to play strategically here, Red Bull. Hamilton's out front and he wants to look after his tyres. He wants to try and get those to the end. Verstappen and Red Bull have got to push him, make him uncomfortable, and not allow him to do that. And all of that, before you say it in chat, I'm fully aware, is easier said than done. It's so much easier said than done. Oh, lovely, Karoon. Thank you. Good news. The risk of rain is dropping. Oh, dear. Oh. And just as Karoon Chandok says that, Lewis Hamilton told over team radio, possible chance of light rain in 5 minutes. So rain is in the air. Rain is in the air. So they think light rain. Karoon Chandok sort of speculating on strategy. Keep driving. I can't see people pitting for intermediates unless it properly chucks it down. But then Monaco's not... It's quite a slippery track anyway, I guess, isn't it? Because it's not a proper racetrack. I will run through the order whilst we sit and wait for this weather to roll in then. I gotta say, really good race. I was really worried about this one, this watch along, not because of you guys. It's great to sit and talk to you all whilst watching the racing, but I thought we were going to have to do a lot of filler. We've got quite a bit to talk about. So, Lewis Hamilton currently leads 6/10 clear of Verstappen, who is definitely pushing him now. In fact, the lap times have dropped by about 7/10 of a second over this last couple of laps, so he is pushing. Sebastian Vettel third, Verstappen is getting close. Bottas fourth, Gasly in fifth place. He is only 4.5 seconds off the lead. Max Verstappen being told of his penalty. And they are going to take it a pit stop if it rains. 6th place is Carlos Sainz. 7th is Daniel Kvyat. 8th is Alex Albon. Really good weekend so far for Toro Rosso. Hope I haven't jinxed them. 9th for Grosjean. 10th for Lando Norris. 11th for Lance Stroll. 12th for Kimi Raikkonen. Ricciardo, who was running up in 5th place, has pitted, of course, is down in 13th. Kevin Magnussen, 14th. Sergio Perez down in 15th place. 16th for Nico Hülkenberg. 17th for Russell. 18th for Giovinazzi. 19th for Kubica. They are both under investigation for the incident at Rascasse. And Charles Leclerc, of course, for, quite frankly, sorry Leclerc fans, being too hot-headed on his way back to the pits, is out of this race. Time penalty for Antonio Giovinazzi, 10 seconds. What? Oh, race stewards. You don't make it easy on yourself, do you? So, Max Verstappen, unsafe release in the pit lane, contact with Bottas, putting team and marshals and all sorts of people in danger, 5-second time penalty. Antonio Giovinazzi, pitching Kubica around on the track, not really putting anybody in danger, just holding people up a bit, 10-second time penalty. Just saying. I'm just saying. I don't need to say anymore. It looks like chat's already off on that one for me. Thank you. We will discuss that in the race reaction stream. I will be live pretty much straight after this race is finished with Chamber and Jonty to talk about the Monaco Grand Prix. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new so you can catch that one. At the moment, Max Verstappen is pushing hard. In fact, I'll tell you what, the lap times have come down by a second in the last 3 or 4 laps. So Verstappen is pushing Hamilton. And Gasly in 5th place, still only 4.8 off the lead. This is a lot still to happen in this race, I feel. Flash forward to lap 78 and nothing happens. But yeah, it feels like there's still quite a lot to happen yet. And if Verstappen gets past Hamilton, he might, even with that penalty, be odds on to win this. But at the moment, I still think Vettel has got a very good chance. But it's all going to be what Lewis Hamilton can do, nursing those tyres to the end. If he pits, if Hamilton pitted now as Gasly pits, he would drop to P9 minimum. So he cannot afford to pit. In comes Pierre. Onto the medium tyres. They should go to the end on that one. 50 to go. 35 to 60 is what Pirelli are saying. Should be okay on that. It might need a bit of management maybe. And Gasly drops to P9, just in front of Norris. I tell you what, Verstappen is pushing hard now. The lap times have come down to 17.1. 4, 5, 6 laps ago, they were up in the 18.9s. So he's pushing Lewis Hamilton. Carlos, afternoon, wants to know how Leclerc retired. How did Leclerc retire? Oh, he made a cracking move on Romain Grosjean. Then a lap later, threw it up the inside of Nico Hulkenberg in Rascasse. Clipped the inside barrier with his right rear, which put him into half a spin. That gave him a puncture. He then, a bit hot-headedly, floored it. Absolutely floored it to get back to the pits in anger, and it ripped a load of bodywork off the bottom and back of his car, and he had to retire. Too much damage. Car was awful to drive, so all his own doing. You've no defence. Frustrated, of course he's frustrated. He's, balls up in qualifying, and then he goes and throws it up the inside of Hulkenberg and throws his race away. So, understandably frustrated, but no defence. Science says it's raining. We shall see. So Verstappen all over Hamilton. We're still in the 117.3s. Hamilton wanted to be up nearly at the 19s. The 118.9 is where he was. So, and in fact, I think Verstappen's in DRS. Yes, he is. 0.8 of a second behind. Obviously, not going to have the straight line speed, if you like, that Hamilton's got, but it doesn't really matter quite so much in Monaco. So I can't... Let me know what you think in chat. I can't help but feel if there was concern from Mercedes that those tyres weren't going to get to the end, they might have been better pushing because they're a compound softer than Verstappen and building the gap and trying to get a decent gap for a pit stop. But I guess the trouble is then if a safety car or something comes out or he makes a mistake, he could end up even further back. So it maybe comes back to track position again. Just a thought. Everyone could have their own theories on that one, of course. But the pace is there in the Mercedes. It has been all weekend and he's on a compound softer of tyres. So... I suppose without, if Bottas had been second, they might have been able to do that a bit better. I suppose you've had a Bottas buffer. A Bottas buffer. I'll run through the order again a little bit later on. For those that are watching, it's on screen. Thanks to Cool Timing for providing the visuals, and thank you very much to the guys at Planet F1 for providing the data for the visuals. So, yes, good stuff. So what can Verstappen... I think he's got to pass Lewis if he wants to win this. I think Max needs to do that. Giovinazzi did get a penalty, Marco. 10-second time penalty. I think the big question mark at the moment, it is at the front is what is Hamilton going to do, isn't it? And what can Verstappen do? Further through the field, though, as Carlos Sainz is in the pits on lap 5, not lap 5, from 5th place, on lap 31. It's not lap 5, a lot's happened. Verstappen is close. Half a second behind Hamilton at the moment. Closing in through Casino Square. On the run to Mirabeau, just watching Sainz come down the timesheets. So what Sainz done, he was pushing hard. He was doing some good laps, actually, but I think Gasly much quicker, 16.8. So that's the pace they could be at. 16.8 from Gasly in clear air. compared to Hamilton on a 17.2 and at one point up on an 18.9. Rain is still in the air. I'm looking at the Toro Rossos up there yet to stop, as is Grosjean. That's 5th, 6th and 7th. I wonder if they might hang on and just see what the weather does. There are spots of rain on the camera lens now. Definitely. And Verstappen right on the back of Hamilton in Rascasse. Oh, he's pushing him. He's pushing him. There is definite rain out there. It's only a few spots at the moment. That's 2 or 3, 4 camera lenses in a row with rain on. So it's spitting about a little bit. I'll not do the obvious Peter Kay joke, but it is spitting. So keep an eye on that, definitely. Hamilton on team radio, though. It says left front opening up. These tyres are not going to get to the end. No way. Famous last words, but no way. His left front is opening up. Verstappen is all over the back of him. Just a couple... 7 tenths, 2 car lengths, maybe 3 behind. Very close. And in fact, Bottas is still very close to Vettel as well. Actually, 7 tenths too. So keep an eye on that one. But at the moment, only 1.4 at the road for... I feel like if Verstappen got past Hamilton, he'd disappear. Kvyat, a 16.2. 16.2 from Daniel Kvyat. What's that compared to the leaders? So Hamilton 17.4. So what's that? Jesus, 1.2 seconds quicker than Hamilton, and the left front is opening up on the onboard of Hamilton there. So that's the pace they could and should be doing. In fact, you'd assume the leaders would be quicker, and into the pits comes Daniel Kvyat. I thought they might hang on a little bit for that, but I suppose tyres are going off. He's gone well, actually. 33 laps. Pirelli reckoned 10 to 22. Of course, we had the safety car for a few laps, which helps with tyre management. They'll definitely run away, run to the end of the race. They will. Grosjean goes through. There goes Gasly. There goes Sainz to Kvyat. And Sainz does a 1:15.8. He's purple. They're side by side, but Sainz just stays ahead. And Carlos Sainz is the fastest man on track at the moment. And that, of course, as it stands, is worth a point. Carlos Sainz a 15.8 compared to Hamilton a 17.3. It is all management at the front. And more astonishingly, Romain Grosjean in 6th, yet to stop, is only 15 seconds off the lead. Pierre Gasly, who has stopped, is only 25 seconds off the lead. So he could bring himself back into play here in terms of Lewis Hamilton. That's going to be a little lock-up from Verstappen there in Rascasse. But if Hamilton needs to pit at the moment, he's going to be under threat from Gasly, Sainz and Kvyat if they carry on their pace. What a good race. I shall have a drink before it gets any more exciting. Yeah, Bottas pitted twice. And he's only 2.9 off the lead. I know it was under safety car, so that accounts for most of that. But he's... Yeah. What was the... They saw a drop of pressure, didn't they, on Bottas's tyres on the left front, possibly, after the contact with Verstappen in the pit stop. So they decided to bring him in and just err on the side of caution. So Verstappen, 277 kilometres an hour through the speed trap, is only 6 tenths of a second behind Hamilton. And this is just classic Monaco. You can catch, but overtaking is another story. What did Murray used to always bang on about Murray Walker? Is it Nigel Mansell, like 2 seconds a lap quicker than Senna, caught him in no time and then never got past, or was it the other way around? Sure it was that way around, 92. Senna won the race, Mansell second. Yeah, the timing on screen, it does take a little bit of time to update. It's not live like the Formula 1 timing. They won't let anybody use that data. I did ask. We're not allowed to use it. So we're getting it from Planet F1. So obviously there's about a 40-second delay between the official timing and the Planet F1 timing, and then there's another 5 or 10 seconds before it updates through cool timing. Nothing we can do, unfortunately. It's as close as we can get to real time. but it's better than having nothing on screen timing wise. So it'll do, and it looks great. I think it looks great. So lots of information on there. So at the minute, as you can see from the on-screen timing, while we're on that, Hamilton would return from his pit stop behind Romain Grosjean in 6th. And Gasly and Sainz are carrying on some very good pace. They're quicker than the leaders. Gasly 16.6, Sainz 16.7. He's soon going to come under threat from them, Hamilton. I think if his left front is opening up, they're going to have to pit him. Because if that goes bang, that's likely to be straight into the wall in Monaco, depending on where it is. Difficult. Hamilton on radio again. Being told if they pit him again, it'll be for the hards. But it's looking good at the moment because Verstappen is also getting graining. But Verstappen's on the hard tyre and all over the back of him at the moment. So Verstappen is right. I know it's a concertina effect. It's always a case. Watching a replay of Grosjean, whoa, brushing the wall. Lovely. That's about as close as you can get. Very close from Grosjean, brushing against the wall there. Yeah, not a lot to say at the moment. It's all around the leaders. They're not pushing hard. They're slower than Gasly at the moment. They're slower than, in fact, I'll tell you who they're slower than. Top 4 are all slower than Albon, Grosjean, Gasly, Sainz, and Kvyat. Gasly's pulled 3 seconds back on Hamilton on the lead. So Gasly 22 seconds off the lead in 7th at the moment. Hamilton is under pressure from him there if they do need to pit him. And there is going to be some traffic now. He's catching a Williams, which will be... Is that George Russell or Kubica? Kubica about to fall a lap down. I'm going to keep an eye on this. I think what Hamilton needs now is a safety car or rain. But even with a safety car, he's going to have to pit. So he's going to fall back. But a bit of rain, everyone having to switch to the Inters wouldn't be the worst thing for him. But in terms of drivers yet to stop, just for those in chat that are wondering, Albon is yet to stop, Grosjean is yet to stop, Norris, Stroll and Raikkonen are yet to stop, and Giovinazzi is yet to stop. Of course, Giovinazzi's got 10 seconds to serve when he does make his pit stop, but he's currently 18th, so not a factor really at the moment. But yeah, number of drivers. So Raikkonen 12th, Stroll is 11th, Norris is 10th, Albon and Grosjean are 5th and 6th respectively. And even on those tyres that have done, those soft tyres that have done 38 laps, Albon are 17.8. Hamilton on his newer, fresh of mediums, 17.7. So them leaders are not pushing, but I don't think Hamilton's going as slowly as he'd like to go on those tyres at the moment. The rain doesn't look like it's going to appear at the moment. We've had some spots on the camera lens if you're just tuning in. Got me very excited. Very, very excited. But no real rain. Can Hamilton make it to the end, says Cyber Banana. Good name. He's going to try. He's going to have to try. He needs a safety car or some heavy rain, or just a decent amount of rain to make people have to change tyres. But his left front is opening up and there's a lot of graining on there, so he's going to struggle. But they're going to try. However, he was told on team radio if they do need to pit again, they'll put him on the hards. He has not got, he's using currently his only fresh set of mediums, and he hasn't got a fresh set of softs available, so he'll have to go onto the hards. Yeah. Sky talking about the Indy 500. Just to let you know, if you are going to be watching Indy, make sure you follow me on Twitter. It's my first time watching, so I'm going to embarrass myself by trying to talk about what's going on and having no idea, and getting very excited because Marcus Ericsson isn't last. But we are aiming Kimi Räikkönen team radio. Complaining that the Racing Point drives into him. Maybe, not really, but yeah, maybe. But yeah, we're aiming to go live with the race reaction pretty quickly as Verstappen gets even closer to Hamilton pretty quickly after this stream. And then we will be live for about 45 minutes, an hour. With Chamber F1. Some of you might have heard of Chamber F1. His video yesterday, hilarious. Jonty's back as well. We're going to talk about Monaco, plenty to get through already, and we're what, halfway? So lots still to talk about. Come this afternoon stream, we are going to try and finish in time for the start of the Indy 500 because we'll want to watch it, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are going to want to watch it as well. So if you are interested, come along for that race reaction and have your say. Bono trying to keep Hamilton happy on team radio there. Max Chilton is in Indy. I forgot about Max Chilton. Who was I? Random thought. Will the lad Stevens. What's he doing now? If anybody knows. I was thinking about drivers the other day from teams that have disappeared from the grid. I was thinking about the likes of Caterham and whatnot and Manor and trying to think of the drivers that drove for them. We've got Guido van der Garde, Charles Peak. I was just wondering what Will Stevens was up to. I assume he's racing somewhere or working at McDonald's, maybe. I don't know. I liked Will Stevens. He wasn't a brilliant racing driver in F1. Didn't have a great car, but he was all right. I quite liked him. Possibly, yeah. Keeping an eye on Verstappen. We're on board with him at the moment into the run into the Nouvelle chicane. Out there and then down to back. There's still some traffic ahead of Hamilton. Is it still Kubica? Because if it is, he's not catching him particularly quickly. Is Kubica lapped? No. Stroll's under investigation for that contact. So I wonder how long before Verstappen sends one, if he gets close enough. We all know if he gets a sniff, as into the pits comes Alex Albon, he's going to go for it. In he comes. Alex Albon up on the jacks. On go the medium tyres. They'll easily get to the end from here. And out he goes. And down to 9th. Is he ahead of Norris? Yes, he is. And again, we've got yellow flags. And that's gone away again. 16. Somebody locking up maybe or spinning slightly, but it's all sorted, it looks like. But yeah, 16.9 for Gasly. Now 18.2 off the lead. The reason, if you're just tuning in why I'm talking about Gasly, is, and that Williams is right in Hamilton's way. Surely gets out of the way and does. So that he survived that one. But yeah, the reason I'm talking about that is Hamilton, we don't know if he's going to get his tyres to the end. So we're sort of looking where he might come out. At the moment, he will come out behind Gasly. And on current pace, 17.3 from Sainz, he might come under threat from Sainz as well. And of course, around Bahrain, that wouldn't be an issue. He can easily get past the likes of Carlos Sainz. No disrespect to him or McLaren, but he's in a Mercedes. But in Monaco, it's not going to be quite that simple. A few spots still on the camera lens. Not raining particularly heavily. Hamilton saying he's on the wrong tyre and Bono telling him they're confident and letting him know that Grosjean on the soft tyres is still running on decent lap times, having run those for 42 laps now. So I think Verstappen's going to have to do it on track if he wants to win this, because it looks like Mercedes are going to try and get it to the end of this race. So let's have a run through the order. I'm just going to watch Verstappen. Fastest Sector 3, Alex Albon. That is how slow the leaders are at the moment. Verstappen's so close in Raskas. So Hamilton leads 6/10 clear of Max Verstappen. Sebastian Vettel third. Valtteri Bottas is in fourth place, 2.9 behind Sebastian Vettel. Just watching that. Grosjean in 5th place, 7.5 behind Bottas, 12 off the lead. Gasly in 6th place, 17 seconds off the lead, and 5 seconds behind Grosjean and catching him, sort of. Sainz in 7th place, Kvyat in 8th, 9th is Albon, and 10th is Lando Norris. In that top 10, we've got Grosjean and Norris yet to stop. Norris running the mediums and Grosjean on the softs. Kimi Raikkonen also hasn't pitted. He's in 11th place, 55 off the lead and 9.1 behind Norris for a point. Daniel Ricciardo, it's all sort of gone a bit wrong for him. He pitted on the safety car. Looked like the right thing to do. Was running 5th and it's all kind of gone away. He's 7 tenths behind Raikkonen and 56 off the lead. Kevin Magnussen, 2.2 behind Daniel Ricciardo in 13th. Sergio Perez, 14th, 7 tenths behind Kevin Magnussen. 15th is Nico Hülkenberg, 8 tenths behind Perez. Hülkenberg. I think I said Hülkenberg already, but anyway, he is 15th. 16th for Russell, 6 seconds behind Hülkenberg. Giovinazzi, 17th, yet to stop and has a penalty to serve. A 10-second penalty, 3.6 behind. Lance Stroll is 18th, under investigation. He's pitted once. And 19th, Robert Kubica. And of course, Charles Leclerc is out of the race. So apparently Vettel having problems with overheating, team telling him to keep it cool, and that's why he's not closing up to Max Verstappen at the moment. Bottas is falling back, actually. I wonder if he's just realises Albon does the fastest lap on a 1:15.6 compared to Hamilton's 1:17.4. Yes, we might get a surprise fastest lap here and an extra point. Showing a replay of Hamilton's tyres. See what they look like. Don't look too bad. A little bit graining there. Some marks on Verstappen. Looks okay. But Albon is the man on the move at the moment. 15.6. Here's P9, so that is worth a point. So that'd be 3 points for him if he could keep it. And Martin Brundle talking about the leaders there driving through the tyre issues. So it is a management race up top. Will Stevens is in LMP2. Thank you very much, James. That answers that, not McDonald's then. It's an interesting train forming behind Carlos Sainz. Intrigued. Intriguing race now. We had quite a bit of action and a bit of drama earlier on. Now we've got to intrigue. Verstappen, of course, don't forget, has got that 5-second time penalty to serve either at the end of the race or at any future pit stop he may have. So he needs to pass Lewis Hamilton if he's not going to stop again to win this race. Hamilton looks like he's going to nurse these to the end. Raikkonen pits. Giovinazzi, sorry, pits. Still has the DRS. Does Max Verstappen. Got a great little train. We're just watching it now. Raikkonen, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Perez, and I think that's Hülkenberg on the back of that. All together on track. Raikkonen. Oh, what's that? The leaders are catching that as well, as Martin Brundle just said in commentary, which is not good. But that pack there is separated by 2.5 seconds between all of those. And Perez had a look up the inside of Kevin Magnussen into the Nouvelle chicane. They just rubbing wheels, it looks like. Maybe not. It's very close. And then over the chicane goes Magnussen to keep that position. Perez is going to want that position back. Yeah, I think Kevin might have to let him go. I think Perez is spot on there. He's up the inside. And Magnussen cuts the chicane a little bit. Or enough to keep his position. So I think that will be either a penalty or he'll have to let him go. And there goes Daniel Ricciardo having a look at Kimi Räikkönen into turn one. Not going to happen there. Forcing him to the outside. So Räikkönen, as Korean Chandler just saying now, hasn't pitted. Soft tyres, 44 laps on those tyres. No, it's not. It's more than that. It's 47 laps nearly on those tyres. Perez having a look at Magnussen into Mirabeau to the outside. Not going to get through there. Will he have a go into the hairpin maybe? Has a cheeky look. Magnussen parking it on the racing line. And the leaders are catching this pack. Oh, this is going to get interesting. This is going to get very interesting. That is a lot of cars. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars at the moment because Russell's coming up to the back of it. That Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen are going to have to get through. And they are 6 squabbling cars. George Russell, a Williams is in the fight. Hamilton really concerned about his tyre, saying definitely in a bad way. So he's not happy. The team are reassuring him, but he's not happy on them. This is absolutely brilliant watching this lot. And Raikkonen pits, so that's going to let them go. So that's one less for the leaders to get through. But this lot are still going to be squabbling. And I bet they quickly drop George Russell now. Lance Stroll joining the back of it as well. So he's got those softs. 47 laps, nearly 48 laps. Not bad at all. When you consider 10 to 22 is what Pirelli was saying on them. And he's done 47. So good driving from Raikkonen. That'd be why they're so tight behind there. We've got a time penalty for Lance Stroll. 5 seconds for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. And I would imagine we're going to get the same for... the traffic! Oh, is he going to get off for ignoring blue flags? But I think that's what K-Mag might get. This is Verstappen's chance. This is his opportunity. Because they're really holding them up. And I can tell you now, there are 1.8 seconds separating the top 4 drivers. Hamilton past Stroll. Surely Verstappen goes through as well. And does. Russell will hop straight out of the way fairly quickly too. And does indeed. And Verstappen will follow him through. Vettel goes past Stroll into back. That's going to cost Bottas time. But Stroll does let him... No, he doesn't let him go. Stroll's trying to let him go. And Bottas seems to be reluctant to go through. And that's costing Bottas horribly. Lance Stroll, you prune. Get out of the way. There we go. Well done. Jesus. Ah, dear. But yeah. So they've got through those first couple. Now they've got that big gaggle of cars to get through. As Norris pits. Is that his first stop as well? It is. I think that second pit stop, that enforced almost second pit stop has really cost Bottas today, hasn't it? And that gap, I was just saying about the gap, it's now 6 seconds because of that messing about with Lance Stroll. Hamilton's rebuilt a lead of 8 tenths. Still some spots of rain on camera lenses. Still a little bit of drizzle out there, but it's not heavy enough to concern the leaders and whatnot, any of the drivers really. But that little group of cars is breaking up a little bit now, so it might make it a little bit easier to get through. Is this, I know we've still got 28 laps to go. We're on lap 50 of 78. Officially, obviously the timing's a little bit behind. But best race since Bahrain, would we say at the moment? Got to be up there. Hamilton again on team radio. Says, I think I'm in big trouble, guys. Front is dead. We aren't going to box now. All we can do is go as long as we can. So there is still that lingering hope for non-Mercedes fans that we might see a winner other than a Mercedes this year. But 28 laps. Can he get them to the end? Remco, hello. Thanks for popping along and joining us. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe. I don't know if you are new, but you're more than welcome, whether you've been here 2 years or 2 minutes. I don't mind. It's great to have people on board, building a decent community here. A few have disappeared over the last couple of days since I've gone back to uploading Formula E content, but that's fine. Each to their own. It's just good to see so many still coming along for the Formula One stuff. As into the pits finally comes Romain Grosjean, who's obviously realised that you do have to pit and can't do a Mika Salo from 1997. Out he goes. Mediums. So Rogro has run well on those. 51 laps almost, or was 51 laps on the softs, and he's going to fall. I tell you what, that is a good strategy for Romain Grosjean. He's ahead of Daniel Ricciardo for P9. Ricciardo, of course, who was 5th at the start, and then that safety car came out, made that pit stop, looked like the right thing to do. And there we go. Thank you very much, Jeffrey. Subbed and click the notification bell. Yeah, don't forget to click the notification bell if you sub. Apparently people aren't getting notifications, not just my channel, a number are struggling with them. I'm not getting them for other channels that I'm subscribed to. I thought that was the point of a notification bell, but apparently not. YouTube. Love it. Thank you very much as well to Kenyan. I'm sorry, by the way, if I do give you a shout out, massive apologies if you never butcher your names. I'm just terrible with names in general. It doesn't even have to be a particularly difficult name to pronounce. I'll still get it wrong. That's just how I do things. Looking at Hamilton's left front, it does look quite nasty. Are they blisters? Blisters in Monaco? It's not good, and Verstappen right on the back of him again. I've still got my red hat on, but it's blooming warm with the red hat on. Oh, Ragunandan. Thank you for subscribing. I've just reminded me then of Ragunathan, or I can't remember how to pronounce his name now, from yesterday. What a driver he is in F2. Bizarre. I was going to say, how's he got a seat? But I can tell you how he got a seat. It starts with a number, has a number of zeros at the end, and is dollars probably. It's not for his driving, that's for sure. But we're talking about the Monaco Grand Prix, not the Formula 2. Of course, Lewis Hamilton is still leading this one, 6/10 up the road from Max Verstappen, who I think can't see the overtake coming unless it's going to be in traffic, because Hamilton looks like he's got the traction and whatnot that he needs off the corners onto straights. It's getting windy there, a bit blustery. A few spots of rain still about in the air, so maybe a few tyre marbles as well. I noticed that in the Formula 2 on Friday, quite a few tyre marbles about, so I'm just looking at what we've got going on. So Gasly's only 16 off the lead, so at the moment, if Hamilton were to have to pit, he would drop to P5. Even if Verstappen and Vettel win this one, it does not blow the World Championship wide open, but it would be something to talk about other than a Mercedes 1-2. Watch the replay. Daniel Kvyat coming out of the tunnel, and we're going to see a lock-up. So well, that Williams was going to be lapped, and Kvyat had to take evasive action and go across the chicane. I don't think he'll get a penalty for that one because he was trying to avoid an accident, so he was only lapping him as well. Rain is hovering about according to the Red Bull radar there. Blue flags for that traffic ahead, so they are catching that little gaggle of cars now, which are Ricciardo, Norris, Magnussen, Perez and Hülkenberg. I love the word gaggle. It's a good word. They're talking to Haas now, or Gunther Steiner on Sky. I'll keep an ear out whilst I have another sip of me water. Oh, live on the edge of me. Water. Whoa, on a Sunday afternoon. Calm down. Gunther Steiner saying these tyres are still a mystery to us or a secret to us. Weren't expecting Magnussen to lose the time he did. Under the pit stops down in 12th, of course. He was 6th, wasn't he, when he pitted following Ricciardo in? Grosjean P9. I think that strategy's worked out really well for them. Andras wants to know how those tyres are still going for Hamilton. I have no idea. Have I got any super chats to read, actually? Better check that while we've got a moment. No, just a 2 from earlier. So thank you very much to you guys for your contributions once again. I try to get through as many comments as I can, but I always try and make sure I read the super chats out, obviously, as a priority. You can contribute to the stream. Links in the description, of course. PayPal, Streamlabs, Super Chat, everything. You know, it's all down there. Social media links as well, so you can listen or read along to my terrible tweets during the Indy 500 later. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Click that like button as well. Really, really helps the channel out and gives us a boost as well. So please do hit like if you're watching now. That'd be massively appreciated. And join us for the race reaction. A little bit later, Chamber and Jonty will be joining me. 3 of us this week. 3 of us. Through the tunnel, lapping, I think that was Hulkenberg. It surely was Hulkenberg that they're just lapping there. And then it's Perez, Magnussen and Norris for them. Magnussen, I think, about to be under investigation. Yes. Stewards are investigating that incident between Magnussen and Perez. I think that'll be a penalty for Magnussen. He's cut the corner. And kept the position. So I would say the smart thing to do if you're Haas now is to tell Magnussen to let him through. Oh. Wow. I was listening to the Mercedes team radio with Hamilton. Wow. Hamilton telling him, I can't get these tyres to the end. I can't do it. Bono telling him to just match the pace of the cars ahead that he's coming to lap and then keep Verstappen behind. Hamilton then said to Bono, I can't keep to that pace. Can you not see that? So he does not feel he can get those tyres to the end. They do look a hell of a mess. A real mess. But he has track position. It's Monaco, but obviously there's that fear, isn't there? A puncture or delamination, same basic thing, but yeah, anything like that, it's going to be very costly. That's it at the end of the day. He has track position. But yeah, as is pointed out in chat, a couple of people actually, Vettel is going to be P1 if Hamilton has to pit and Verstappen cannot pull out 5 seconds. So is Vettel... The team saying he's having some heating issues, some overheating issues. Is he just being really, really smart, looking after what he's got, knowing that if Hamilton needs to pit, he can just push Verstappen to keep within 5 seconds and win the race? Vettel, not much talk about him lately. He just seems to be sat there in 3rd place. He's matching the leaders. In fact, he's quicker than both the leaders by a 10th on the last lap, but not a lot in it. Looking after those tyres, looking after his car, get it to the end and could be the winner. What a turnaround that would be for Ferrari this weekend. Really smart call before their unsafe release for Red Bull for putting Verstappen on the hards, and very smart call from Ferrari as well on the hard tyres. Through the swimming pool they come. I'll run through the order in a moment. For those who are listening and not able to watch the screen at the moment, we have got the live timing from cooltiming.com and the data from Planet F1. So thank you to all of those guys. Through the final corner. So as the championship stands, if you're interested, Hamilton 25 points, 137 would be 20 clear of teammate Valtteri Bottas. And don't forget, it's not until the second half of the season that Lewis Hamilton finds his real groove. So that'll be concerning for the rest of the field. But that live drivers' championship means nothing at the moment. Pretty sure it is still going to be Hamilton versus Bottas for the title. But if Verstappen or Vettel can win this, it might just make things a bit more interesting. Oh, Verstappen, it's in that hairpin, gets me every time. He gets so close to the back of him. going to keep watching. I'll go through the order in a second. I'm just going to wait through this part of the racetrack. Now, they are catching traffic, which could be interesting. Lap time, 17.9 is Hamilton, 17.2 is Verstappen, 17.7 for Vettel, and 18.2 for Bottas. But Gasly, 16 seconds off the lead. So at the moment, if Hamilton has to pit, he's net P5. So that is why Mercedes are so keen to keep him out there in the lead. Super chat just coming in from Graham Brown. Thank you very much for your contribution. Massively appreciated. Let's have a look what you're saying. It says, how many non-Merc wins will we get this season? I think more than we think. Been a dominant start, but we're talking, there's a long way to go in this season, so just team radio again. He's complaining about the strategy. Doesn't know what the team were thinking when they put those tyres on, and you need to hope for a miracle. I think Verstappen will win a race this year. Could be today. I think Vettel will win a race. I fully expect Leclerc to win a race. I think I put Gasly down for a race win as well, but I'm not quite so confident on that one. So I think we could see Ferrari and Red Bull picking up some wins. But I think Mercedes will win more than anybody else, and that's an obvious statement, given that they've already won 5. But yeah, we're not getting a 1-2 today for Mercedes as it stands. Perez up the inside of Magnussen. Magnussen then cuts across the chicane. That's a replay of the incident from earlier. And I think that's a penalty for Magnussen, surely. I assume that was a replay of an earlier incident, or whether it's just happened. What's the gap between them? No, he's 6.8 seconds behind, so it's not happened now. Verstappen right in there again in the hairpin. I know, it's that Constantine. They'll bunch up, don't they, on the brakes, but it looks so close. And I think if Verstappen gets a good run through the tunnel and down to the Nouvelle chicane, I think he'll go for it. But he's such a long way back. The pace is in that Mercedes power unit. One mistake from Hamilton and Verstappen will be right on him and past. And of course, there's still the threat of rain in the air. 18 laps to go. I can't remember if I've done an order recently, but I'll do you on right now. Lewis Hamilton leads 0.6, half a second now, clear of Max Verstappen. Sebastian Vettel is in third place, looking very good at the moment if Hamilton has to pit and Verstappen can't pull out a lead for his penalty for a win. Bottas is in fourth place, Gasly in fifth. If Hamilton pits, he will rejoin in fifth place. Carlos Sainz sixth, Kvyat seventh, Alexander Albon eighth. Toro Rosso again, really good today, looking good for double points. And I think Albon still has the point for fastest lap at the moment. Romain Grosjean in ninth place, 10th for Daniel Ricciardo. Everyone's pitted, by the way, in the whole field. Bottas pitting twice, of course. Lando Norris in 11th place, 12th for Kevin Magnussen. It is 13th for Sergio Perez, 14th for Nico Hulkenberg, 15th for George Russell. Wow, not last, the Williams boys. 16th for Stroll, 17th for Raikkonen, 18th for Kubica, and 19th for Antonio Giovinazzi. And of course, just the one retirement at the moment, Charles Leclerc from earlier on. If you are just tuning in and you didn't know, no, he's not really close enough, Croft. He's about a mile behind. If you're just tuning in, Charles Leclerc made a fantastic move on Romain Grosjean. I said it earlier, Jules Bianchi-esque into Raskas. Brilliant move right up the inside. And then a lap later, I think it was, he went to try the same on Hulkenberg. It was a much tighter move, and then he hit the inside of the barrier on Raskas with his inside right tyre. That pitched him into a half spin, punctured his tyre, and then in a bit of a strop, he floored it back to the pits and did a hell of a lot of damage to the back end of his Ferrari and the floor, and that was game over for him. So self-inflicted one for Leclerc, but all born out of frustration, I'd imagine, from what happened in qualifying and then spinning after a good move and what was almost a very good move as well. So that is what's happened to Charles Leclerc for those that are wondering. Not good. Antonio Giovinazzi down in 19th, well behind at the moment. Only 3 seconds off Kubica now, though. He got a 10-second time penalty for a collision with Kubica at Raskas. Threw it up the inside, hit Kubica into a spin. It blocked the track for a good few seconds while everyone got going again. That was a penalty. And Max Verstappen also has a penalty pending for, well, he has a penalty, 5-second time penalty for an unsafe release. James telling James, he said, Lewis, it's James. That'll get the meme guys going. You can do this. We have faith in you. So they're giving him all the encouragement they can. But it looks to me as though Mercedes are getting ready. Looks like, because they're just putting their chairs away in the garage. So I wonder if Lewis Hamilton has said something on the radio that we've missed, because they were definitely putting their chairs away there, Mercedes. I'll keep an eye. Gasly in the pits. He's got the gap back to Sainz, so he may as well. In he comes. Are they going to put the softs on and go for a super quick pit stop? He's not got any fresh softs. But they are putting the softs on, so Gasly is going for fastest lap here. He's going to come out in lapped traffic, but he should get out in front of Sainz. I don't imagine he's going to fall behind. No, he's not. He's got the gap, so they're going to go for fastest lap then. At the moment, it's Alex Albon that holds that. Nothing against Pierre Gasly, but I kind of hope he doesn't. It'd be quite cool, wouldn't it, to see somebody other than a Red Bull, Ferrari or Mercedes get a fastest lap this year. Magnussen got one last year, didn't he? I seem to recall. You can vote for your driver of the day if you're interested. I don't know if you are. The vote has just opened, apparently. Who could be a good shout here? I think I'd be tempted, as unpopular as this will be, and as quickly as the fanboy comments will come in, I'd be tempted to put Hamilton in there if he can get these tyres to the end. I think he'd be a good shout, because I was not expecting him to do that. We've got 15 laps to go, and he's hanging on in there. Possibly Sainz as well up there in 6th place would be a good shout. Grosjean, 9th. Good strategy, worked out well for him. A few to mention, but I think if Lewis Hamilton gets these to the end, it'd be hard for me to ignore that one. Oh, well spotted from Martin Brundle there. Bottas, when Verstappen takes his penalty, is now 5 seconds behind Verstappen. So that is that. If Verstappen pits for his penalty, that's going to, or has to take his penalty at the end, that will keep Verstappen on the podium. Will Lewis try and back him up a bit? Maybe. I don't know why he would. Focus on his own race, hasn't he? But Bongerman says Ricciardo could have been in 6th easily. He was looking good. P5 at one point. Just all kind of didn't work out for him, did it, after the safety car, traffic and whatnot. So Verstappen is close to the back of Lewis, but Lewis just seems to get a really good run off that final corner despite his tyres struggling. But if Verstappen wants to win this race, I think he's going to have to do it on track. I do not think Mercedes are going to pit Hamilton with 14 to go. This is going to be this has been, for me, the best race since Bahrain, and it's been thoroughly enjoyable, even though we've not seen much overtaking at all. Thank you very much, Steve, by the way, for subscribing. Don't forget to sub if you're new, and that's Verstappen having a little look around the outside in Lowe's hairpin, or Hotel hairpin, or whatever it's called this week. But yeah, it's been I've really enjoyed this race. Really enjoyed it. And looking forward to the race reaction stream, actually. I was concerned. I thought we were going to get a proper snooze fest. But it's been tense. It's been intriguing. We've seen plenty of action as well. So, yeah, not bad for Monaco at all. I suppose that's the other question, actually. Yeah, from Crofty there. If Verstappen does get the move done, he's not getting many laps to build the gap, is he? To Hamilton. And that's the other question, is that from Martin Brundle, how much risk does he take? I think Verstappen, if he gets a sniff, will go for it. Why wouldn't you? I don't really... Bottas goes purple, by the way, 15-1. That's a point for him at the moment. Just say at the moment on the driver of the day vote, Leclerc is third on 13%. Jesus. That's all laugh. Fun Dip, thank you very much for subscribing. But I think, yeah. Does, where's, oh, is that Bottas? I was wondering where Verstappen had gone there, but it's actually Bottas we're looking at the moment, fastest lap. I think Verstappen's going to get this done in the next couple of laps. But Vettel's catching Verstappen as well. At the moment, your net podium is Hamilton, Vettel, Bottas, because Bottas has got that gap down to Verstappen now with that fastest lap. So Vettel's closing in. Verstappen is closing in to Hamilton. This is very reminiscent of, I always forget the year. Was it 2011 or 2012, 13, somewhere around there when we had Vettel leading on those tyres that were knackered and he was struggling to get them to the end, and then you had Alonso and Button behind, separated by less than a second. That was a hell of a race. It feels a little bit like that at the moment. It's good stuff. There is a bit of traffic ahead, which could come into play. I think that is a Roman Grosjean. It isn't. It's Kevin Magnussen. Fastest lap for Gasly. 1:14.3. I don't think Hamilton's going to pit. Unless those tyres go bang. I do not expect Lewis Hamilton to pit. But it's pushing quite hard, so he might be able to get that gap down. 14.5 from Gasly actually in the end. There's a tense finish to this Grand Prix. I'll do a run through the order in a minute. The final one before the end. But it is still Hamilton leading Verstappen by less than a second. Where is Hamilton going to catch Magnussen? He's going to catch him at the hairpin. Oh, he might be okay. It's going to be close enough through Portier. He's right on the back of that Mercedes. Through, as you'd expect, that Red Bull is so good. Through that sort of middle sector until you get to the tunnel, and then the Mercedes just pulls away in a straight line. At the moment, it's Gasly with fastest lap for those that are asking. So he's got the point as it stands. I don't think that's going to change. Who could pit further in the pack? Nobody really, no. Maybe Grosjean could. Be a bit tight, only 20 seconds of gap, so I don't think that's enough. Slower pit lane in Monaco, of course, 60 kilometres an hour. Hamilton coming through Casino Square. Magnussen's still ahead of them at the moment. It's not close. They are catching him. Whether Lewis Hamilton's just using him for a bit of DRS, maybe, if he gets close enough. I don't know. But again, through the hairpin, very close from Verstappen. Bottas catching Vettel quite nicely at the moment, by the way. So Verstappen just been told on team radio he's got more power to the end of the race. So this is it. This is where Verstappen's got to go for it. It's about to get a little bit more exciting at the front. Is Hamilton going to pit? That is from Thomas. I don't think so. He's been told mode 7 to the end. Yeehaw. And Hamilton been told he's got overtake available. So, and yeah, good. Again, Martin Brundle spot stuff that I missed. 4 Honda-powered cars in the top 8. Good stuff. But Verstappen definitely closer now. He's cranked that engine up. This is going to get very, very tasty. So, super quickly, I will run through the order again. I know I've not long since done it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Hamilton from Verstappen, and then it's Bottas, Gasly, Sainz, Kvyat, and Albon. Grosjean is 8th. He is not. Grosjean is 9th, sorry. Ricciardo is 10th. And Verstappen right on the back. Is he going to have a look in the hairpin? Hamilton goes defensive. And Verstappen to the outside, but he's right on that line. And Verstappen is all over him, very quickly showing through the order. Norris is in 11th. 12th for Magnussen. 13th for Perez. 14th for Hulkenberg. 15th for Russell. 16th for Stroll, 17th for Raikkonen, 18th for Kubica, and 19th for Giovinazzi. Still, the only retirement at the moment is Charles Leclerc, and Max Verstappen is all over the back of that Mercedes. Twitchy legs at Red Bull. I'd imagine the Horner jiggles out as well on the pit wall. That sounded wrong. Where's he going to make this move? So turn 1, possibly the hairpin, but Hamilton's just going to park it in the middle of the track, so I doubt that's a move. Maybe Raskas, just having a replay here. And yeah, Verstappen just to the outside at the hairpin. Hamilton covered the inside perfectly. And then no cutback's going to work there through Portier. It's a good overtaking spot, actually, Portier. I think I get it right, but... Verstappen has to get past Hamilton and has to push. We are 71 of 78 at the moment, so he needs to get through in the next lap or two if he's going to pull away. I do feel like if Verstappen can get past Hamilton, he will pull away enough to win this race. He's going to be so much quicker. Does he just go for it? Will Hamilton defend if Verstappen does just throw it up the inside? Is it worth the risk? From his point of view, thinking of the championship. Verstappen, in some respects, maybe nothing to lose. I know it's very early in the season to be saying that, but does he just throw it up the inside and just let... You just don't want to crash, do you, if you're in Verstappen's shoes? You don't want that all over you again. Coming through the swimming pool once again. Oh, and Verstappen cuts the chicane, gets it all wrong. And that is going to be a lot of time lost. Luckily, Vettel wasn't right on the back of him. And Verstappen pushing so hard. Cuts the chicane and loses quite a bit of time. Bottas all over Vettel. There shouldn't be a penalty there. He's got a wobble on the exit and he's just gone straight through the chicane, but he's actually lost time, so he's not going to get a penalty for that. Replay of Hamilton just brushing the wall. And Verstappen already right on the back of Hamilton. This is, 72 of 78. Grosjean under investigation. Verstappen right on the back of Hamilton already, half a second the gap. And I don't actually think... I'll wait for a longer shot, but I don't actually think they've passed Magnussen yet. They haven't. So he's just watching his pace now, Hamilton, trying to match Kevin Magnussen. Bottas all over Vettel. So at the moment, as it stands, your net podium is Hamilton, Vettel, Bottas. But if Verstappen can get through, and he needs to get through this lap probably, maybe the next one if he can pull away. But the way that Verstappen just cruised back up to the back of him there, he should be able to pull out quite a lead. Gasly trying to get that fastest lap, 14.2 as he goes across the line. Very good lap from Pierre. What is Verstappen going to do? He goes wide again through the hairpin. Sweeps back underneath. And then it's through Portier. And then into the tunnel where I'd expect the Mercedes just to start to pull away a little bit. Verstappen, of course, has got mode 7 available, which I assume is attack mode, effectively. Into to back. I think Hamilton's got this covered, you know. Unless those tyres give in. They look such a mess when you look close up, but I think he's got this covered. He's sort of matching Magnussen's pace at the moment. And I don't think Verstappen's going to get this done. Even if he does, we've only got 5 laps to go. He would have to pull away at a second a lap to get it done. Good exit from that first corner, though, but you're not going to do much on the run up to Casino Square. Penalty for Grosjean. 5-second time penalty. Ooh, Verstappen twitching again. Grosjean crossed the pit lane exit line, but we don't worry about that. He's not going to lose a position. He's got too much of a gap. But Verstappen is right on the back of Hamilton. Will he get a good run through the tunnel? He looks closer this time. Does Max Verstappen, is he going to have a go into the Nouvelle chicane? He has a little look, but he does look so much closer. So much closer than he has been. This is so tense. They are catching Magnussen as well. This is going to be it's been a great race, but it's going to be a very exciting final 4 laps here. What can Max Verstappen get it done? He's running out of time. He needed it, I think, a lap ago. Through the hairpin once again, so it's going to be wide for Verstappen. He's going to tuck back up on the inside. Will he get a run through the tunnel? If he gets this right on exit, he could have a go into the chicane, but I don't think he can. He just doesn't get that exit right, Verstappen. Just doesn't seem to get that run through Portier. He just get the power down to get the run through the tunnel. Vettel and Bottas still keeping an eye on this. They're interested. It's all about how quick he'll be able to go if he gets past Hamilton. Somebody in chat saying this is boring. You're obviously watching a replay of last race then, because this is far from boring. This is the thing Crofty talking about there in commentary. Even if Verstappen slings it up the inside on the final lap, it doesn't mean anything. He's still going to end up 4th unless he can pull out a really good gap. At the moment, he would need 2.5 seconds a lap if he does it this lap, really, to win the race. Oh, dear. If this is boring, I suggest you bog off. If you're talking about the stream, no good watching it because it's not going to get any more interesting than me, I'm afraid. The race is brilliant. Best we've had since Bahrain. So it's a wonder you're still interested in Formula 1 after Spain and whatnot if this is boring. Oh, there goes Verstappen. It's the Nouvelle chicane. They've made contact. Oh, how boring. They've made contact. Verstappen went for it. I did say earlier, would he go for it? Is there a puncture on Hamilton's rear tyre? I don't think so. And Verstappen just went for it super late on the brakes, locks up into that tyre. He didn't hit him with the front wing. So should be okay. Oh. Listen to team radios there. Team telling him that he's done a good job. Yeah, a lot of people deluded in chat think it's boring. I'd probably turn off Spain if you're probably watching the wrong race. I'm only bantering you. I'm only messing about. I'm not that nasty. I tell you what, Verstappen already right on the back of Hamilton again. So if he had got through then, he might have pulled out the gap. But he's losing his podium here, Verstappen. I nearly read that. Somebody just put there, good races, and nearly read it in a Yoda voice. But it's the final lap, so whatever Verstappen does, if he's going to pass Hamilton, he needs to do it now. And then needs to pull out 5 seconds over those behind. He's not going to do it. And the stewards are looking at the incident between Hamilton and Verstappen. I don't think anyone will get a penalty, but if anybody does, is Verstappen going to have one more go into that chicane? He's a bit too far back this time round. But yeah, the stewards are investigating it. I didn't think no penalty in that one anywhere. I completely disagree, Danny. Everyone came into this race saying it was going to be crap and boring, and it's not been. And it's far better than Spain, far better than China, far better than Australia, and far better than Baku. But Lewis Hamilton crosses the line to take the win just ahead of Max Verstappen. But of course, Max Verstappen will not be keeping second place because he's got that 5-second penalty. And both drivers are still under investigation for that contact. So I don't think there'll be a penalty for either. But if there was a penalty for Verstappen, he would stay P4. I tell you what, Gasly wasn't far off the lead in the end, 9.9. If there's a penalty for Hamilton, 5 seconds a minimum, he would drop to 4th. But I do not think that is going to be a penalty for either driver. See, Martin Brundle's saying there, if he hadn't have made that move stick, he wouldn't have won the race. But I don't know. He was so quick. He had that incident, dropped over a second behind, and was back on him half a lap later. So I think he could have certainly built the gap to be on the podium. Maybe not for the win. 2.5 seconds a lap might have been a bit of an ask. But I don't think it was an absolute no. And they're all cruising home, picking up lots of debris now. Toto on the radio congratulating him. We've had James on the radio. Bono, of course, as well. And the red caps on the boats. Lovely sign for Nicky. Danke Nicky, hashtag on the screen as well. Absolutely, yeah. Driver of the day then, chat. I will ask you again in about half an hour. We do the reaction stream. I'll have a think. I think I know which way I'm going to go, but I'll have a think. But let me know yours in the chat. I'll just make sure the cars get back to the pits. Obviously, the leaders go round to the grid. Yeah. So Vettel is P2 then, isn't he? So that is the end of the Mercedes 1-2 run. Only a 1-3 today. Terrible. Not good enough. What a terrible race for Mercedes. I'm being sarcastic, of course. This will be an emotional Lewis Hamilton with his Niki Lauda helmet on. Out of the car he gets. I'd imagine a fair bit of celebration. I wonder how muted they'll be on the podium. That'll be not interesting, but it'll be interesting to see, but not really interesting, you know what I mean? Both still under investigation, of course. I'll say this now. I do not think for a second that's a penalty for either driver. But stewards are looking at it, so it's worth a mention. I will run through the order. Don't worry, CB. Just give me a moment. I'm just waiting for everything to settle down. And then, yes. Thank you to Andra, I think it is, for subscribing. Don't forget, if you are new, to smash that subscribe button. We'll be live again probably in about half an hour, 40 minutes. I'll be as quick as I can. I know the Indy 500 tonight. Don't want to stop people watching that one. So, yes. Do make sure you subscribe if you're new. Drop a like on the video as well. That'll be massively appreciated before you disappear. And I'll be live with Chamber and Jonty. Jonty is back. A little bit, well, very, very soon. So, yes. Going to watch very quickly Lewis Hamilton reaction. A lot of emotion there. But I will give you an update on the penalty situation when we get to the race reaction stream. But I will run you very quickly through the final order before I disappear. Lewis Hamilton has won the Monaco Grand Prix pending an investigation once again. Then I do not expect that is going to be a penalty. Max Verstappen in second place. Again, he's under investigation. Don't think he'll get a penalty, but he's already got one penalty and will drop 5 seconds, so he's actually going to fall to 4th. So that will promote Sebastian Vettel to 2nd with Valtteri Bottas in 3rd. Max Verstappen therefore 4th. Pierre Gasly in 5th. 6th for Carlos Sainz. Fantastic weekend overall for Toro Rosso. Daniel Kvyat 7th. Alex Albon in 8th. Romain Grosjean, again, really good drive. Fantastic strategy from Haas for him to end up in 9th place. Brilliant from him. He's going to be a possibility for driver of the day, I think, for a lot of people. Really, really good from him. But more on that a little bit later, of course. He got a penalty, 5 seconds, I think, but he does keep hold of his position. Daniel Ricciardo in 10th with that final point. And I think that's the first point, if you weren't ready for a useless stat, I think his first point for that helmet that he wears. So there you go. Lando Norris in 11th, Kevin Magnussen in 12th, Sergio Perez in 13th place, Nico Hülkenberg in 14th. It was 15th for George Russell. Yes, and we only had one retirement. He's ahead of not only his teammate, who's down in 18th, but also ahead of Lance Stroll in 16th, and Kimi Raikkonen in 17th, and Kubica held off Giovinazzi as well at the end for 18th. And our one retirement, Charles Leclerc. More on him a little bit later on, of course. But I'm going to leave it there for now. I just need to block a moron first, which I will do there. I'll be back in about half an hour, 40 minutes-ish. I'm going to leave it there for now, though. I'll be there with Chamber and Jonty. Don't forget to follow me on social media. All the links you need are in the description down below. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean. This has been the F1 Word. And until about half an hour's time, goodbye.